Beginning im. Doesn't that make sense to you? Don't you understand the phrase beginning im?
Of
Beginning
course.
instant
How
messages.
could I be so foolish?
Is
Yeah.
it like an N, but like fancier?
Yes, an
im.
im. All good D&D adventures start at the im.
Of course.
Can we play an adventure where we don't start at an M?
No.
I recently joined a new D&D campaign on Sunday.
It's a six concurrent games you're in right now, right?
Yeah. This dude's
no,
in so
one
many
on
D&D
Sunday.
games.
I replaced my Sunday game with a new Sunday game.
So that's like what 18 concurrent games that you're in
That's
right
like that's 18. That's basically like 25 concurrent games he's playing in.
now? I mean,
you
if
guys
you
believe
round
he's
up and make it
played
an even
25?
30, that's practically
Can you,
30
can you
concurrent
believe
games.
I'm in
that he's
4
playing
active
about
games.
50 D&D games right now? Can you believe that he keeps up with all those campaigns?
Why do
That's
you
pretty
play
wild.
50 D&D campaigns?
Why don't you?
Yeah, and I mean,
Oh,
50.
you're right.
That's 50's more than halfway to 75. Like he's basically playing 75 D&D adventures right now. That's a lot
Trevor,
to keep
what-
track of.
How do you have time to play 100 D&D games in a single week? Like that's
I'm a professional player. I get paid to play D&D.
Are you telling me
Oh,
that
really?
he's playing in
I
1,000
that.
different D&D campaigns right now? Watch, is that what you're saying? I had no idea. Trevor, do you play the same character in them all, or?
I just
No.
want to know, like, how do
I can
you?
do 1,000 different accents.
Wait, Trevor, you said you can do 10,000 different accents?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so many accents.
Wow,
Each
I didn't know
section
there
is
was
like
that
1
many.
minute long.
Of course there are.
1 minute sessions. It's like
Yeah, it's
chess. He like mails in
Yeah.
his move in each of
Speed
his
role playing.
in each of his 20,000 D&D campaigns. He like mails a move. He's probably doing it over text now, right? Because it's the future. So
D&D campaign, any percent.
I just stream. It's like those people who play online poker and they have like 20 games going on. I'm just alt tabbing constantly between each session. I do this, alt tab. I do this, alt tab. I do this.
I'm imagining you just like literally stuck at the im in all 50,000 of your D&D campaigns. Like just that's because I mean 50,000 is so many D&D campaigns, and that's
Yeah, I have
about
to
what
go
he's
one
doing.
action- I have to go one action at a time, you know?
Yeah.
Like each time I tab into one, I get 6 seconds, I do my thing, and then I leave. And so it's like 6 seconds of walking isn't even to the door, you know?
That's fair. I gotcha. Well, do you
I need to
guys
do
want
some math.
You know,
I'll wait for Wash to do his math before we start for tonight.
I just spent like the last 5-10 minutes trying to figure out how to listen along to the music, and I gave up.
Oh. I think you need Spotify Premium.
I do have Spotify Premium. I pay
Oh,
for it.
never mind then.
Yeah, get out of here, scrub.
Matt, I'll send you a listen along invitation. How about that, buddy?
Hey, Cole.
That's like an hour and a half for 1,000 D&D games at 6 seconds a round. It takes you an hour and like 1.66 hours to get through a single round in all of your games. That's
Belly,
wild.
that sounds like a lot of fun.
That's all you need to do.
Played a birth rate campaign where we had to email our actions throughout the week, and then we role played it on the weekend. That sounds like kind of fun. Like so the weekend sessions, all you did was role play. Like you just focused on acting out what had already happened.
Or was it you did combat through email and roleplay in person?
Yeah, I'm gonna need details on that one. I'm
Maybe that would
curious.
translate into volley.
Maybe. Belly
That's
says,
the
"Yep,
details.
it was pretty great."
It was pretty.
Yep, to what?
Is that enough details, Matt?
That's what I was just
Yeah.
thinking. There's your details.
Suffice
Now it
to
should all
say,
make
it was pretty
sense.
great.
Yeah.
Honestly, he was probably doing it through messages on a BBS instead of email, but way back then.
Way back when.
Way back when.
Oh, Matt, I'm not playing it from my phone, so I can't send you an invite from my phone, and I'm using Discord to capture for the stream. So you're gonna have to just get good. I think you can just click on me in Discord and hit listen along though.
No, it doesn't work.
Oh, rip.
Well, wait. If you look at Spotify on your phone when you log in, you should see that you're listening to your Spotify account, unless you're using a different Spotify account.
All right, chat. I'm gonna dox random screen grabs of my Discord for a second here,
Music
so
is
that these
important.
poor folk don't get all riggedy wrecked trying to figure out
Stop
where.
breaking my
the thing be.
immersion, Josh.
Oh, I'm breaking it.
My
It's
immersion.
gone. There are no
What
active
is? Why is
threads.
What is
There we go. We don't talk about it.
What happens at Wonder
It was-
Twins stays at Wonder
Yeah,
Twins.
if you want context, you're gonna have to join the Winged Badger Gaming Discord, which you can do with !Discord.
Oh no, my
saying hi,
emojis.
All right, chat. Good luck figuring out who's who
Hi, Matt.
now.
Yep. You guys
Huge
should
storm
just-
down here, Matt High.
We should just stay like this.
Oh.
This is the way. I think this
I
is
didn't know
good.
I said hi. When did I say hi?
Badger online.
Okay, here's what you guys do. You go to my Spotify profile, and then you should be able to listen along with me. And
Just
chat, if you
Spotify.
can follow that link, if you can piece it together and follow it, you're welcome to listen along as well.
There we go.
But I opened your profile.
Oh, well, you either can or can't listen along from there. But we've now done all that I am able or willing to do for you. The best part of this is that it appears to have not worked out. Like, we just invested all that time and it wasn't worth it.
I was like, I've already gotten that far.
Well,
Bring nothing new to the table.
rip you, buddy. Rip
All right.
you. So you guys want to play D&D?
Yeah, that sounds like a good
Actually,
idea.
I was
That's what I'm
thinking
using.
about, what
Matt, has
if
your
it's
DoorDash
like-
arrived yet? Your traditional late stream DoorDash?
Well, I didn't get a chance to order it, so.
Well,
And I didn't want to order it now because then we're probably going to be mid, party, and it's
You
going to be
sure
a
will
crucial
be.
moment.
Yeah.
But then I'm going to be starving.
Well,
But that will keep me up, I guess.
yeah, rip you, dude.
But then by the time we're done, nothing's going to be open.
Combat and strategy through the emails, roleplay outcomes, and setup for the next week's turns in the weekend. That's cool. I dig it. So let's talk about our world here for a little bit, because things are happening simultaneously right now in the magicless world of Urida. Well, the slightly magicless world of Urida. The mostly magicless world of Urida, because there's ciphers and stuff. So on one side of Tumbleweb, deep in the city center, there is a wine tasting happening at the manor of one rich Elaine Mollusk. But while that wine tasting is happening, the details of which we can only guess at, there certainly isn't a podcast available on Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and everywhere else you listen to podcasts or YouTube that you could use to catch up on what happens there.
no.
But while that's happening, on the other side of town, having recently been dropped off at the front door and invited into the rich estate of Jess Bayson, another trillionaire business tycoon in the Tumbleweb area. We're on the outskirts of the city here. This is an opulent country estate, if you will. We find Xothkug wearing his magnificent hat and his excellent suit. And we find Fox dressed as his manservant, changeling servant? Dressed as his servant, having been just led into an elegant dinner party. So you find the round, hobbit-sized wooden door swings closed behind you as the servant admits you to the front room. And the front entrance to the Bayson estate, it's pretty much exactly what you would expect from a hobbit home. You know, it's a well-furnished front sitting room. There's a doorman sitting on one side, reclining easily in an armchair with a large pipe protruding from one end of his mouth. And the room, smells faintly of the tobacco he's smoking. The walls are a tasteful mixture of portraits of a red-haired halfling woman in her mid-30s, bookshelves without a speck of dust on them covered in generic easy reads, and handmade wooden furniture displaying fancy purchases from far away like Zerugian pottery, a gem set mined in Hargrim, an everflower wreath all the way from Oat, and even a strange pair of stones that seem to hold together without any adhesive or joinery that you're pretty sure you've heard of as Lodin's stones. The floor slopes steadily downwards to the south away from you. So you're standing at the north. The floor slopes downwards to the south, thus heightening the room until it reaches about 10 feet high with nice vaulted ceilings where a thick marble door rests on a massive centered swivel. Just so you know, Matt and Trevor, the players, there is a map of this estate in our Discord in the D&D threads to help you orient yourself. I'm still going to be describing everything as much as I can for you audio listeners, but if they get into like combat or tricky situations or whatever, I wanted them to have a quick reference just so they could kind of remember what they're seeing. And remember, you're in the Bayson estate because there's two different maps there.
Yeah.
So you're in the entrance. You're at the north, looking to the south. There's a big door. The doorman is sitting there, puffing on his pipe, and the servant who has just let you in has swung the door closed behind you. The doorman has not acknowledged you.
I will go ahead and take off Xoth's jacket.
Okay.
And look around for a coat hanger to put it on.
Nice. There's of course there's a coat closet. So you walk over to it and you hang up it's like a suit jacket, so underneath there's still like the nice tux with the emerald ornaments and stuff on it. You hang it up in the suit closet. As you hang it up, the doorman looks over at you and says, "Another servant. They all keep bringing servants." And he
Do you have a
spins
problem
around.
with servants, good sir?
I have a problem with people who are not of sufficient stature to be in the presence of Miss Bayson. He begins puffing again on his pipe.
Am I not worthy?
Of course you're worthy. Look at your hat. I'm just saying, all these people bringing peasants in. What? Because you're giving them a leg up on their lives, just to bring them to a big party so they can see how the wealthy people live. If you can't get along at a party without a servant.
Oh no, I assure you I can. I just can't leave him at home.
You can't trust him, eh?
Yes.
I'm very honored to be brought here.
I can see he even speaks gutter speech. Well, very well. Go on in, and he just goes back to reclining in his easy chair.
Nod my hat to him and continue walking. And then once we're a little ways out of earshot of him, but before we get to the party, I'll be like, "Do you want me to refer to you as Fox?"
No.
Roll stealth. You're in a front sitting room, and then there's a door at the end.
Oh, true. We haven't really walked far. I'm just gonna elbow him instead.
Okay.
I got a 13 on stealth.
Chat, that's a great quote you just added. Okay. I'm rolling perception. Okay. Moving on. So let's add a die to the tension pool as we mark the passage of time here, and you head on into the next room. So the marble door, it's on this big center swivel, so the door swings like a hidden bookshelf would, spins at the middle to be basically breaking it into two open doorways. Both of them lead to the same place. It's a balcony. You find yourself standing on this balcony. It's about 15 feet deep, easily wide enough for kitchen staff carrying loaded trays to walk around guests without any incident, and it's covered in a lush maroon carpet. A dirt-sized railing prevents guests from falling over the edge as they take in the reception hall beneath. This balcony stretches the full substantial width of the hall on this north edge of the room. So it's a big, long balcony that's basically running the circumference of the room. And it covers the east and west sides also, so it makes like an angular U shape. Nestled in all four corners of the balcony are carpeted stairs leading down to the reception hall itself. If you follow the balcony around the bend to your right, the right side of the room, then there are four ornate wooden doors set into the western wall, each with a gold plate that's numbered. So there's a door 1, a door 2, a door 3, and a door 4. If you follow the balcony around the bend to your left, to the left side of that big U shape, then a double set of similarly ornate wooden doors that has no labels rest there, apparently locked at the center of that eastern wall. There's a scattering of high-top tables sized for tall folk and other shorter ones sized for dirt, gnomes, and the like that are placed all about the balcony, enabling guests to speak to one another away from the heavier bustle of the room beneath. And where the balcony meets the south wall on either side of the room, so at the end of that U shape, there are two more thick ornate wooden doors, one at the end of each one.
Okay.
I'm gonna just approach the railing. I'm probably too tall to rest my hands on it, but I'm just gonna look down towards the hall and just take in what do I see? Are people mingling? What's the vibe?
Absolutely. So beneath the balcony is a large reception hall with heavy hardwood flooring and a few expensive-looking abstract rugs that have clearly been crafted by local artisans. There are small square tables set on top of round maroon rugs where small groups of guests congregate underneath the balcony itself. And then there's an open space where the balcony ends, the floor beneath, like that's not covered by balcony. It's a big open space. And in the open space of the room, there's like a large card table at the center that kind of dominates the space. Although right now it's not being used for cards. It's covered in a slip, and there's a sculpture, an ice sculpture of the same halfling woman from the entrance hall that you saw in the portraits is standing atop it. In the carving, her wavy hair forms a halo around her beaming face as the stone halfling signs a small tablet with a quill that looks to be genuine feather, like the sculpture has an actual feather quill in its hand. A small number of kitchen staff, easily identified by their spotless white suits, dexterously navigate the room with platters of appetizers and flutes of some sparkling drink in hand. The smooth walls of the reception hall are each decorated with a mural depicting a different nature scene: beaches, mountains, plains, and desert. There are around 30 guests currently taking their ease in the reception hall, making polite small talk to each other. Not a few of them look amazed at the wealth and opulence around them, as if it's their first time invited to a party like this. On the balcony with you, there are also a handful of guests who are just scattered around in small conversations. You do notice in particular, there's rich and then there's visibly rich, right? And at one of these tables, there is an elaborately dressed stout dwarven woman with black hair woven into like an elaborate braid studded with bright gold bands, and she's speaking quietly to a subordinate who himself looks like money. There's more gold ornamentation wrapped around each of her arms, and then there's a ringlet just beneath each shoulder, and she has this like silky sage green gloves with gold studs above the knuckles on her hands. Her robes are a similar like green and gold pattern, reaching down to and draping around her feet and ending just past her shoulders in width, leaving her arms bare except for the gold ornaments, which contrast magnificently with her dark skin. Beneath the robes, she wears a pale blue tailored silk that makes the exquisite gleaming emerald pendant at the base of her neck shine even brighter. You can hear a few phrases coming from her subordinate that are things like "my liege" and "your highness" kind of drifting over from their conversation.
Very fancy. Xoth will approach.
Sir,
Yes.
would you perhaps like to rest your feet first before we engage in any conversations?
Yes, the trip was quite long. Let us go find a seat.
As you head to your seat, you hear conversation floating up from the reception hall beneath you. You know, different people are talking to each other, but you can hear one lady say to one of her friends that has come with her, "I cannot believe none of you or myself thought to bring your own alcohol to this event that was to be declared as better than all of this swill." You make your way over to one of the tables to just kind of rest and recline, and you find, do you go to one of the high top tables or the lower tables?
High top.
Okay, so you head over to a high top table, and you see as you approach it, on each table, including this one, there is a coaster, and beside that coaster is a complimentary stack of lesser wingle digits. The wingle digits can be pressed into the side of the coaster, allowing the message spell to be sent directly to the bar where guests can order drinks. So from time to time, you'll see somebody basically slide a stack of 10 of the lesser wingle digits, press it down into the depression, their table glows a little bit, and they just quietly speak their order, you know, citron de fantasy coulé, or whatever they're ordering, and it goes to the kitchens, and a little while later, a servant returns with a platter that has whatever they've ordered on it.
Is there a list of drinks or?
Absolutely, there's a list of drinks. There are 4 drinks on the list. There's Twilight Berry Whiskey, there's Cinnamon Pearl, there's Citron de Fantasy Coulé, and there's Unholy Volcano are the 4 drinks on the list.
Xoth won't start just quite yet. You know, we'll ease into it.
Gotta ease into it.
Yeah.
Especially around rich people.
Is there anyone at my table?
No, there's no one at your table in particular. You have chosen an empty one. There are, like I said, there's a handful of scattered conversations. The only person who looks noteworthy or interesting besides just generic rich person is that, like, queen, princess, whoever.
Yeah.
Or you can go down into the reception hall and see the people down there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to go ahead. do a spot check real quick to see if I see anybody sus.
Oh, he's being sus.
Is anybody the imposter? Let's see what I got here. It was not a very good one. That's perception, not spot. I was like, where's spot?
A doobie perception.
12.
Okay. Gonna add a die to the tension pool as you recline at your table looking around. You can see, so there's not too much suspicion. I mean, this is like a, I don't want to call it like a boring person party, but like this is the reception hall where everyone is like, ah, yes, I will sip my champagne flute and stand around and like talk about my friends' children and how they're not going to go as far as my children. Like this is one of those kind of environments that you're in right now. But you do notice that on the like in the reception hall on the ground floor, there is a man in a generic government suit, you know, who is asking around like, I need to speak to Miss Bayson. Where is she? And no one is really answering or paying him much attention. And he's like, I need to speak to her about the regulations regarding any, you know, it's like looking around trying to get a conversation with Jess Bayson.
Okay, I'm going to bear Xoth. I will be getting you your drink, sir. And I'll just walk off and instead follow this man from a distance, trying to look like, you know,
sorry.
Making my way towards the bar, I guess.
Okay. So you head down one of the spiral staircases to the reception hall floor level, and the bar is, you can now see it. It's on the north edge of the room under the balcony, so you couldn't see it from where you were standing before, but you come down the stairs, and there along the north edge of the hall is a bar. It's pretty well stocked, but you do see from time to time a servant comes over with, you know, a bunch of, like a cart, you know, of bottles and things to restock them. But you go to the bar, and the bartender looks at you and says, guest or servant?
Servant, sir.
And for whom are you purchasing? He's pulling out a little list of signed-in guests.
Actually, sir, I was looking for some water for myself.
Oh, yes, we have that. And he pulls out a glass of water and hands it to you. Will your liege be needing anything?
Not yet, sir. Thank you.
Very well. If you wish for the expedited ordering, you need simply take the complimentary Wingle digits, place them inside the coaster on your table, and whisper your order, and one of us will bring it along shortly.
Much obliged.
And he, you know, goes back to tending, whatever bartenders do when there's no one in the room.
Wiping down the counters.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they're constantly just cleaning that one glass.
Yeah, the spotless counters and glass. He's just like redoing the, you know, re-cleaning them.
Xoth will get up from his table. He's gonna go look at the ice sculpture.
Okay.
And admire it. And
are you going down to the ground floor, or are you staying on the balcony?
Ground floor.
Okay. As you head to the ground floor, you see in the distance, you know, Fox is kind of walking off on his own way. We'll check in with him to see what he does in just a second. You walk directly up to the ice sculpture, and it is like magnificently lifelike, except for the translucentness of the ice. But besides that, it's a very believable caricature. And it does match exactly the halfling woman that you saw in the front room, who's in kind of the portraits and stuff. You could probably infer that this is Jess Bayson, just based on the fact that it's her house. The card table underneath of it, you, from your partying days, you recognize like a well-worn poker table. And it actually does smell faintly of cigar smoke. Like this is probably a place where, you know, guests might be normally, you know, amused with some poker. As you're standing there kind of looking at it, you can hear one of the conversations near you. An elf woman is just kind of reclining while a servant fans her, and she's saying to one of her companions, "Yes, Marcia, if you can believe that, I had to travel here. The portal keepers in Whiteshire said the portal hadn't worked since the darkening. I offered them mids, even bigs, but they simply wouldn't do anything. It was as if my extravagant amounts of money weren't even enough to motivate them to get the blasted things working. What in the name of chaotic G do we call them portal keepers for if they can't keep the portals working?" Anyway, and they, move on into something else with their conversation. This is the first time that you have heard the phrase mids and bigs in conversation. However, it is going to be common around this party, and at some point over the course of the evening, you're going to realize that what they're talking about is wingle digits. It is the evolution of slang. There are lils, mids, and bigs for lesser, standard, and greater wingle digits, and that is kind of
bigs
the
and
next.
wedge.
But that's kind of the evolution of the slang for wingle digits, at least among the filthy rich, which, unbeknownst to you, you now are part of, because on the other side of town, the other two members of your party, well, I guess Fox knows. But anyway, so Fox, what are you doing? You've just walked away from the servants, the bar, I should say. You've walked off with your water.
Where is this guy that's like asking around?
He's headed for the south doors. So on the south wall, you can now see from your lower perspective, there is a set of like big glass doors, like frosted glass. And through them, there's just like a subtle orange glow, like a steady warm light coming through.
Okay. I'm going to quickly, but, as a servant, glide my way over to him.
Okay.
To get his attention.
Okay. How do you get his attention? We'll say you can catch up. How do you get his attention?
I tap his shoulder politely.
Yeah.
Sir.
Oh yes. Hello. Do you work here? Are you a servant of Miss Bayson's?
It looks like you could use a glass of water. Would you like a glass of water?
Oh, I am, and he pulls out a small kerchief and kind of like dabs at his forehead. I am a bit stressed, thank you. And he takes it. I just need to speak with Bayson, and she is nowhere to be found, at her own party, no less. And he kind of sips on his water.
Well, I wish I could help you. I do not work directly for her, but maybe I can help. What exactly are you trying to reach her for?
We need to speak about this arrangement of hers with the permit in the center of town, in the downtown market. There's rules and there's precedent for people to only have one stall in the market, to allow other people to sell their wares. But Thames has purchased 4, and that's just we need to speak about this to see if we can come to. I don't want to drive business out of Tumbleweb, but I also need to support my people here, my constituents. So I need a meeting with Miss Bayson to discuss this. She hasn't been returning any of our letters, and that's why I'm here.
If you don't mind me lending some advice, humbly, perhaps we should sit down and think of a better plan than, asking all the guests. If she doesn't want to talk to you, she may not come at all.
What kind of plan do you have in mind? Who do you work for? You're dressed as a servant. You're not a guest. He for the first time is
a
really
plan
taking
myself,
you in.
sir. I figured you would come up with a plan. I was just telling you should probably think it out.
What?
Would you like this drink of water?
Sure, I'll take the water. He takes the water and he's very confused that you're just some servant has approached him and told him, "Don't do what you're doing." Just what? I don't know what to do with that. What do you suggest? What would you suggest?
Oh,
you work for someone obscenely wealthy, I imagine, right?
It's usually
Who do you
not
work
my
for?
place, but
Who do you work for? Who's your lord?
He is a new to town kind of person. I do not wish to speak of my lord with him not present.
Well, is he here? Can I meet him?
He is here. And I must ask, I'm guessing that you run for some office here in Tumbleweb?
Ah, yes. I am Councilman Wilson Flowers.
Yes, I do believe I heard that name when we came into town. How is your election going?
The election isn't for another few years.
Oh. I figured since you were in such a hurry to solve this problem, it must be because an election's on the way.
No, it's because this is a blatant violation of the regulations and policies of the city of Tumbleweb. This Bayson character, first she rejects security services from our deputies and hires some private security, and now she won't even answer our communications. It's very distressing.
I think perhaps we can work together with my lord.
Oh?
Would you like to meet him?
Sure. Who is your lord?
Follow me.
Very well.
I go find Xoth, yes.
Yep, Xoth is still admiring the ice statue, and with that hat, he's impossible to miss. As you walk towards him, you see several other people who are like, whatever they were talking about before, now they're talking about the hat. They're like miming like little peacock motions, or like, is that a mug on the top of it? And like, they're just like, the gossip train has seen Xothkug's hat. What's it? And every now and then you hear someone who's like, what a preposterous hat. Hats shouldn't stand out. The hat should complete the outfit, not be the outfit. And stuff like that. You make your way back to Xothkug with Councilman Wilson Flowers in tow. And before long, you have caught up to him.
Sir?
Yes.
I think this man would like an audience with you if we could find somewhere slightly more private than this statue to talk at.
Of course.
Who are you? He's
I'm
like
Xothkug.
because he's a dirtbag. So he's like Xothkug?
Yes.
My lord comes from out of town.
Far out of town.
Very far.
He willingly follows you wherever you lead him.
I lead him up to the balcony, probably like on one of the ends. Just
Okay.
seems most out of the way.
The rich dwarf lady is on one corner, so you can go to the other corner or you can go somewhat near her.
Other corner.
Okay. So you lead him to the corner. It's to the right of the balcony on the west wall of the room where the numbered doors are. Doors 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you head over there and you find a table to sit down at. And he says, your servant gave me to understand that you might be able to arrange a meeting for me with Miss Bayson.
Of course. I haven't met her yet. I'm still waiting for that audience, but it's scheduled. It'll be on the way. I'm working on it.
Deception.
Just like you. Do I get advantage since it's at a party?
No. Well.
My hat gives me advantage on
Party related.
No, this isn't party related. You're saying you have like a business meeting with someone. That's not. It's not
Didn't
like
we say he gets to do religion checks for party related activities?
Yeah, but I don't think this is party related. I think he's just lying about a business meeting he thinks he has.
I got a 6.
Okay, I didn't roll for Councilman Flowers. How can you have a meeting arranged with her if you're from out of town and you?
Sir.
Yes.
I'm sorry. My liege. Remember, you never sent that letter. We were here to...
You didn't send the letter?
You never wrote it, sir. You need to remember...
Why wasn't it on my calendar?
I'm sorry. He misspoke. We were here, as I turn back to Xoth, to find audience with her, as we were unable to write a letter ahead of time. It simply was not in the cards.
It appears my servant mismanaged my calendar. I am deeply sorry.
Of course, sir. It was my fault, of course.
Well, okay. Roll. Go ahead.
Sir, I brought him here because he seems to want to ask about the stall issue in the market, and I thought perhaps we also would like to ask Jess Bayson a question. So if one of us could gain audience, perhaps we could help each other.
Excellent idea.
I suppose that could work. Just so you know, Trevor, you have advantage on your next, well, or whenever you choose it, but chat has given you advantage.
Yay, thank you, chat.
How do you propose we arrange this meeting then? And what do you need to speak to Miss Bayson about? Are you going to put her in a bad mood before I have to go and talk to her about regulations?
No, of course not. It's a business matter.
What kind of business matter? Are you bringing business into the city of Tumbleweb?
We are.
Tell me about your business. And suddenly he's like much more interested in the conversation happening at this table.
Oh. Well, we're an upstart in Tumbleweb. We are called Four Guys, Ventures, and Vibes. We are contract adventurers.
He pulls like a little pocket notebook out of his like pocket protector. Says, "Interesting. And when do you intend to begin doing business in Tumbleweb?"
As soon as possible. We recently acquired a very nice Edison carriage, and we are currently going through the proper paperwork to incorporate here.
Yes, filing for your charter of commerce.
Yes.
You know, I could be persuaded to speed that along for a little, maybe a little upfront taxes, if you will.
How much are we talking?
I don't know. How much are you offering?
I think perhaps we should solve our problem at hand, and we can worry about paying our taxes at a later time, my liege. And on that note, it does look like you're out of water, sir. I'll go fetch another glass.
Servant, can you grab me a nice glass of champagne while you're at it?
For the alcohol, they told me that you have to order those through the complimentary.
Yes, the fancy
magical
coasters. The
discs.
fancy coasters. I'll show you. I'll show you. Let us talk business. You go and fetch a water.
Okay. I need to know, is there like security anywhere?
You haven't seen any security yet.
Okay. I'm going to go to door number 1.
Okay.
Do I win a brand new car?
Okay, before you do this, just to reiterate spatial layouts.
Yes.
Xoth and Councilman Flowers are in the corner of the U-shaped balcony. You are only going like maybe 30 feet from them before you try this door on a straight line with nothing between you and them except a couple tables. I just want to be clear that you know what you're doing.
I figure
Are there
that's
other people
pretty
on the
distracting.
balcony?
That's true. He's pretty distracted. I'll let you roll stealth for it because he's in a conversation, and it'll be against his passive perception. That's a fair justification.
All right. I will go ahead and lean up against the wall next to the door and kind of check the doorknob. And for a stealth check of, spoiler alert, it's going to be good. Non-nat 20.
Non-nat 20 behind door number 1. You open up the door, and what you see in front of you is a small suite of rooms. It has a reclining area closest to the balcony, so right in front of you. And then beyond that, there's, a little storage closet on one side with some necessities and things like that. Just beyond there is a bedroom with a large 4-poster bed. And then on the far end of the bedroom, there's like a small personal, like a sink. But it looks like the sink actually is its own well, or it's like fed by well water. So it's like a bowl of water basically that's constantly refreshed. So if you were to pull a cup of water out, it would be filled with more water. There are some generic hotel-looking paintings on the walls, like abstract art, and the room is like perfectly tidy and neat and has no possessions in it. So basically, you've stumbled upon the guest room, and
it's empty.
There's nobody who's staying in this guest room.
Okay. I'm going to step in, go for the well.
Okay.
Sink, and on my way to that, is there any other door out of this room?
No, you have come in the only door out of the room.
Okay, I will fill up the glass then and leave the door.
Okay. You fill up the glass and you leave the door.
And I head back out to the balcony. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to assume then the rest of the doors are probably also guest rooms. I will go drop off the water silently, at the table.
Yeah.
Nod my head.
You set it on the table as Councilman Flowers is saying to Xothkug. Not that I would want to suggest anything, irreputable about your taxes. It was merely that if you wanted to make an advance payment, I'd be happy to facilitate it for you. I'm not talking about bribes, of course. That would be would be unethical.
I completely understand. I just have to go through the books, make sure everything's good, but
a man who keeps his own books. Well, I can relate to that. I actually keep my own books as well. I've got a nice ledger here, and he pats his little pocket protector, which apparently has more than one notebook in it. Fox, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go ahead, nod my head, and walk off.
Okay. At the end of the balcony, there's a door, like at the far end, going straight, like through the wall. Or there are the two glass doors on the south wall of the reception hall if you wanted to like try and get into another room. Or alternatively, you could go and explore the reception hall further.
I'm going to walk down across the reception hall and go to the other balcony on the opposite side.
Okay, so you go down the stairs, head across the, like basically past the bar on the north wall. You cross the elaborate reception hall, go back up the spiral staircase on the lush maroon carpeting, and you find yourself now maybe 5-6 feet away from the table where the elaborately dressed dwarven woman is. Are you going to continue down, southward away from her, or are you going to try and what's your play here?
I'm going for the unmarked doors, but I'm also going to take my time to see if I can't overhear anything interesting.
Okay. You hear the like subordinate who is with her saying, I'm not sure which she wants, Majesty, but I think it's safe to assume that she either wants exclusivity on the sale and distribution of Gaiman jewelry, which of course Her Highness would never agree to, or the far more sane and palatable permission to distribute from Gaim. Perhaps this Bayson merely wants permission to construct one of her warehouses at the heart of the queendom. And who could blame her? We are the heart of the refined world, after all. And the rich-looking dwarf woman replies, Indeed, and here I am, a refined woman, surrounded by the barbarity of these dirt folk. I've heard they call this a civilization, a city-state even.
Oof! That's a mental oof. I will just ignore that and head to the unmarked door. On my way there, did I see anybody going or exiting this door?
No.
Okay. How many people are nearby besides rich dwarf lady?
Nobody else is on this side of the balcony.
Do they face me or away from me? Like, are they looking out over the hall?
Oh, they're talking to each other, so they're kind of like tucked into the corner, and each one is looking at the opposing wall, if that makes sense. Like 45 degrees across the corner.
Okay. I will go ahead and test the door as if though I'm a little lost.
The door is locked.
Oh, okay. I will nod my head like, oh, wrong door. And walk back down across to the bar.
Okay, you head back to the bar. Hello again. Does your liege need something?
Oh, actually, sir, I had a guest inquire me about where we could find rooms to relieve ourselves.
Restrooms. Yes, of course. The restrooms are, and he indicates off to one side of the hall, the west side, underneath where the guest rooms are. He says, there's a restroom right there. And he points it out, and lo and behold, there is a subtle small, this one's not like ornate, it doesn't draw attention to itself, it's just kind of like a generic small door that's been set into the wall.
Thank you.
Very well.
I will go ahead and tell him. In that case, I'll just wind my way. I can do a perception check if you want, but I'll just wind my way slowly back to Xoth, trying to listen to as many conversations to see if I just pick up anything interesting, whether it be related to our task at hand or not.
Roll perception. For every 5 that you get on this perception check, you will hear another thing. I can't tell you much of it'll be relevant. Is it a nat 20?
No.
It's a natural 1.
No, but it's very close.
A 2.
Are you gonna get 1 5?
I got 1 5 because I got 5. I rolled a 20 and it slid, and then it was like the dice was like, nah, it's gonna be a 2 instead. I was like, oh.
I'll add a tension die as you listen in.
Okay.
So as you're crossing the reception hall, the first table that you head over towards to try and sort of glean something, it's some dirt folk who are dressed in like Sunday church style clothes. Like they don't quite own rich enough clothes to be at this party. And they're staring around themselves, just open mouthed. They're not saying anything. Like they just seem a little overwhelmed. But as you pass them, you come by a couple of gnomes who are in suspenders, pinstripes, straw hats, like golf buddies. And they're speaking to each other. And the first one's going, "Yes, well, I'm glad we got it all sorted out. When I first converted my currency to Wingle digits, I didn't have enough space to store it. I don't like to leave my money in the banks, you see. My great-grandfather was a dragonborn, and I think there's still a bit of hoarder in the bloodline. Anyway, the new hip vaults are remarkable. They wanted to charge me for mine. Well, I marched right down to the Summit Banking Guild, and I told the branch manager there, I'm not paying for something that I have to pay to use. And do you know what he said to me, Philip? He said, well, sir, it's right here on the price sheet, as if he didn't know who I was. In the end, I had to talk to the regional manager for Tumbleweb before they'd give it to me. Imagine that. Lifetime customer like me, I tell you. That's what you overhear.
Okay.
Then you make it to the bathroom.
Oh, I'm going back to Xoth.
Okay, you make it, so you head up the stairway and you come back to Xothkug. Let's cut back to Xoth. Xoth, you are sitting across the table from Councilman Flowers, who's just talked to you about his ledger books. What do you want to talk about?
So you said you'd show me how these coasters were ordering.
Yes. So let's say, and he picks up the small menu and looks down it. Have you tried any of these ales?
I have not.
Well, I recommend the Cinnamon Pearl. It's a smooth whiskey, smooth as you've ever had. So what I would do is I would take from this stack, and he uses 2 fingers to just neatly slide 10 lesser Wingle digits off the top of the stack. So I take 10 lils here, and I just slide them right into this depression. See this? It works just like a cipher. And he pushes them down, and they plunge into the opening. The coaster begins to glow orange. And then he leans in and says, 1 cinnamon pearl at, and he looks over and there's a number etched in the table. Table 4, please. And he, and the glow subsides. And basically as soon as he said it, you can see the servant is coming up the spiral staircase with a platter that's got just 1 drink on it. It's just like 1, fancy glass with some of his cinnamon pearl. Do you want to try?
Yes, thank you.
He hands it to you.
Take the glass.
Okay.
Slip it. Yes, very good. I quite like this.
That's good to hear. So what brought you to Tumbleweb for your business venture?
Well, I heard, I guess Wingles, as I've heard them. The lingo hasn't made it to the surface, I guess, yet. Do you call them Wingles here?
We call them Lils, Mids, and Bigs.
But like the general currency.
Oh, they're Wingle digits.
Okay. I wasn't sure if there was a slang for that too.
Nope.
Okay. Well, I heard about Wingle digits, and I just knew that this was the next big thing. So I needed to find, the creator, the source of it, get it converted, as getting my gold converted to Wingle digits was quite hefty, and a lot of the banks I visited just could not handle it. So
yes, well, we do have some lovely reputable banks here. They're all Summit Banking Guild branches in Tumbleweb now.
Yes. So I came down these filthy tunnels to find everything.
Filthy? Our tunnels are, well, I suppose some of them could use little cleaning. If you wanted to, if you wanted to contribute to the cleaning of the tunnels, if you were to pay a little extra towards the tunnel cleanings, I could see to it that you were recognized with a lovely, memorable plaque.
Ah, lovely. That would be amazing.
Well, we can do the deal right now if you like. And he pulls out his ledger notebook and puts it on top of his other little notebook.
I'm currently not carrying very much on me. I can't pay for it right now. But
at a party like this, well, I suppose Bayson's taking care of all the essentials.
Yes. and you don't know which servants might have, sticky fingers, so I try and come light to these parties.
Sticky-fingered servants, you say? And he quick tucks his things back in his pocket protector and like pats it to check that it's full. Why? Is it your servant? Is he at that moment? Fox comes back up the stairs to rejoin you. So you arrive as he's saying, "Not my servant." Oh, good. I was nervous about that.
No. But it has happened to some friends of mine at parties I've been to. And you never know which parties are safe, which ones aren't. So you just be cautious all around.
And where are you from? Where have you attended parties in the past?
How familiar are you with the surface?
I mean, I've been to the surface before. He's like clearly trying to just like sound knowledgeable. I've been to the surface, a fair share of times.
I've been to parties all over. Some of the western cities, some of the eastern cities. Word gets around, and this just happened to be the next place for my venture takes me.
I see. Well, it's been very nice to meet you. How do you suppose we go about arranging this meeting with Ms. Bayson?
Well, I usually at these parties the hosts come like kind of later, fashionably late. I assume she'll make an appearance at some point, and then we can talk to her.
I see.
I think we should just enjoy the party and not make too big of a fuss. Making a fuss will just dissuade her, and the servants will warn her ahead of time.
That's fair. The servants might warn her ahead of time if they know, but I mean, it's not really a servant's place to get involved in something like that. Wouldn't you agree? He looks up at Fox like very pointedly.
Not that I would be very knowledgeable on this subject, but I do know that some people have other people on retainer who may look like servants, but have a different role.
Ah, interesting. Are you good at detecting such people?
I'm gonna do a perception check. Do I spot such people in the room currently?
Sure.
That's a 17. I'm going to quietly just nod at maybe one or two of the people I notice. You see, over there and there, they have a higher role than one such as mine.
Ah. Well,
you have to watch out. You never know who's listening or where they're listening from.
I see I've underestimated your help, sir, he says to you, Xothkug.
They have to be well trained. Many attempts on my life have happened, and I need my servants to be on their toes.
Well, that's very good of you.
I guess we shall pass the time, my liege. If you need, there's a bathroom underneath this balcony along the wall. But I assume that dinner will be coming after the waiting period here.
Dinner's actually already available if you just head further south into the main courtyard out of this sort of foyer area. Then you can partake in the rest of the party. But yeah, show yourselves around. I've been out there looking for Bayson. I thought she must be up here.
Also, Councilman, do you know any information about that lady over there? And I point to the presumably dwarven royalty.
Let me see if he does.
Or do I know anything about?
You definitely don't.
Okay.
I don't know very much about her. Normally, whenever royalty travels to Tumbleweb, they sort of notify us so that we can have our sheriff's department, set aside some manpower to keep them safe, some mole power to keep them safe. But she didn't. All I've been able to glean about her is that her name is Kaitlyn, and she's a daughter of Salin, Princess of Gaim. So the Gaim, you would know about Gaim. Gaim is a dwarven nation. It is central eastern to Urada, so it's on the other side of the mountains where all the dragons lived. Okay. And Gaim is known for like refined art, jewelry. Basically, they're a stereotypical dwarven export place, like lots of gold and pewter and things. So that's all I know about her. I'm not even sure what she's doing here, to be completely honest. I'm not sure why a princess of Gaim would be here.
I I may have heard from another servant that actually she's here to talk about business with Jess Bayson.
Oh, so she gets a business meeting is what you're saying. All I had to do was become a princess of a faraway nation.
Well, to be fair, sir, that is a very high stature for someone in this world.
I can't imagine Tubbleweed gets much royalty from the surface.
I'm going to roll a tension pool. Just so you know.
All right.
Would my liege and sir like to
Councilman.
perhaps...
We will discuss things after the party about our extra taxes and our clean tunnel fund.
And remember, my liege,
Yes.
should we get audience, then we will lend a hand to this councilman. And councilman, if you get an audience, we would appreciate any hand you lean to us.
Oh, of course. I mean, for an esteemed businessman like Mr. Xothkug here, I would be happy to effect an introduction if ever I'm able. Well, how about you go one way and I'll go the other way? Tell me which way you're traveling and I'll go the other to continue my search for Miss Bayson.
I will probably go greet the princess.
Very
Just
well.
pay my respects.
I will head south to the main courtyard. And he walks away from you straight down the balcony, like past all of the numbered guest rooms, and pushes open the big oak door at the very end of it, which leads to a sunlit area. You can't see any of it through the door, but it's like bright sunlight streaming down through there as it closes behind him. And thus you are alone together on the balcony.
Well,
Alright,
that
so-
went well.
I don't know if she might be a little above just about everyone in this room.
Absolutely.
I don't
That's
know.
part of parties, man. You got to talk to everyone.
I don't know if she's in the talking mood, Xoth.
I'm
What
going to
did you-
give you guys this. This is a D&D thing. Like it's stock D&D, but nobody's used it in our campaign so far. So I just want to make sure that you know that this is a mechanic that exists. You may use the insight skill to try and determine things that a person is interested in or not interested in so that you can use those topics to like more ingratiate them to yourselves or avoid something that would alienate them. So one thing that you could do in this circumstance is you could roll insight. One of you may roll insight on the princess to try and determine if there's something that she's interested in that you could use to strike up a conversation without her servant,
Pick me.
pushing you away or
Let me
whatever.
roll insight.
That seems party related. I feel
Can
like I
I-
would give you advantage.
My
on
insight
it.
is higher than my
Definitely a party
religion.
thing.
Oh wait,
Can I give insight based off of what I've heard so far? Like just help?
You
help
don't.
act.
He's already got advantage, but sure, we can say that you helped him to get the advantage.
Okay.
You don't need to roll anything. Go ahead and roll off.
True.
You do be
not the
rolling with
best
advantage.
First roll. Yep. 16.
16. You can tell just looking at the way she's dressed that this is a person who she likes the refined things in life. You're pretty confident that poetry would be something that would make her more amenable to conversation. Like she's clearly not impressed by money. But
Yeah.
if you could impress her with art or maybe some kind of demonstration of power, like something like that might be useful for getting her, kind of catching her eye. At the moment, she hasn't even looked towards you. Like she's just,
Yeah, of course.
engaged in conversation with her
I'm
subordinate.
just going through stuff.
Just going through some stuff, man. Hey, we're here for you.
Sorry.
Roll for poetry. Going through some stuff.
Xoth isn't much of a poet.
Maybe he is and he doesn't know it.
Dude, don't you Google a poem. If you're going to
I'm
make
not
up a poem,
Googling.
you
I'm not
better make it
Googling.
up.
I'm not Googling a poem, I promise.
It's going to be a limerick or a haiku.
So it wasn't specified. Or, no, he wouldn't do that. Never mind.
Xoth, I'm not sure if there's really any way we could get her attention.
Do you know any poems, Fox?
Poems? Why poems?
Because I get the vibe that she likes the finer things in life. Money is just, obviously no matter to her, so we have to wow her in some other way.
Wow, you say?
Yes.
I
would do magic, but I don't have any of my plant leaves on me.
I think I could do something. I will go ahead and let's see. What do I got on me? What do I got on me? Probably not most of this stuff. Which, I'll pick up one of the Wingle digits that hasn't been spent yet, or one of the littles, one of the littles.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up two littles, and I think I could come up with a cool little parlor trick.
Okay. What's your parlor trick?
Do you think they would impress her, Xoth?
What are you gonna do?
I will go ahead and this is probably gonna be sleight of hand. I will hold out the coins and flip my hand over, and then show both hands with a coin in each hand. Flip them over. You can't see the hand motions I'm doing. I'm doing hand motions. It makes sense if you saw the hand motions.
It's a sleight of hand.
And then no coins, right? And then pat Xoth's jacket, and underneath the flipped collar, pull out the two lils. I will roll for this if I have to.
This man's got a roll sleight of hand. Also, chat has suggested that you let her overhear you talking to your servant about a crystal statue that you intend to secure that will have no equal among all of the Underdark. Crystal statue with no equal? 3-year-old magic trick.
21.
21. Okay, well, yeah,
the
when you do
servants
it,
are very impressed.
when you do it for Xothkug, he's like, you do the trick right. Xoth, it does not influence your decision. Like you can.
Yeah. What you do? I need to roll another insight to see if that would have any.
No, you already rolled an insight,
Okay.
but that it doesn't. It's not really a demonstration of power or like
Okay.
refined palate, which are the two things that you're kind of looking for.
Yeah.
It's like.
Hey man,
Magic
that was
is not a display of refined palate, that is for sure.
Also, I just want to remind you guys that you can always consult your shoulder angel / demon.
Oh yeah, for sure. Xoth will be like, "Oh, Fox man, that was a great trick, but I don't think that'll work here. Hey, inner demon angel me. Do we got anything to woo her?"
I say go with poetry. Come up with something really flowery and really nice. She'll really love it.
Poetry.
But it's the impromptu, unrefined poetry that is on the bleeding edge of actual poetry and is sure to inspire the person who is a poetry aficionado to see that which is off the cuff and fresh and new and not some rote thing that everybody knows.
So slam poetry?
This princess is probably down with some slam poetry.
I just don't think we could do this cold for such a high statured person.
All right. Oh yeah, I can't hear this conversation.
No.
But you can hear him talking out loud.
Xoth, are you okay?
Yeah, man. Like, do you think the hat is enough?
And maybe if you brought something along with the hat, maybe both of them would equal enough?
Both of what?
I don't know, something else. Obviously, you don't like my amazing coin trick.
I love it. I don't think she will love it.
Whatever you say. Coin trick always impresses, okay? Especially once I get into it.
Oh, do I have that item or does someone else?
So maybe we can come up with something real quick. You said poetry was something, right?
It could be. Do you want me to just spitfire something here?
Sure. I was gonna spitfire. Roses are red, violets are blue.
No.
I wish I.
Their eyes. Say they're like a river.
Dirt surrounding, caves, rocks falling, darkness.
Peace, tranquility, purpose.
What do you think?
And I'd give up forever. Because I know that.
Maybe replace. You said dirt surrounding. And then what else?
Rocks abounding.
That's what I was gonna say.
Not profoundly lost with you.
What were you gonna say?
Rocks abounding, I think would work as a better second lyric.
Dirt surrounding, rocks abounding, caverns echo.
She says she doesn't like. She thinks this is like barbarian civilization, right? This isn't refined enough for her.
Exactly,
so maybe,
but the poem can be about a barbaric civilization. That could still be refined.
Maybe lean into that is what I'm saying. That you also view this place as barbaric, and maybe she might be more keen on the message.
Did my first poem not convey that?
You could go a little heavier into it.
All right, so we got a dirt surrounding, rocks abounding, caverns echo with short fellows.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, we can work with this.
Maybe rub a little of your adventures in there. Talk about the mile drop. Talk about Kaitlyn.
Yes. What if we work our adventures in this? Okay, so,
Caverns echo with short fellows. Kyvern the Wise.
Would she even know that name?
Well, if she doesn't, then that's all the more.
Kyvern the Wise. A serpent surprise.
A serpent detects lies.
5 Guys Burgers and Fries.
No, okay. Kyvern the Wise.
Detects
serpent
no
surprise. No, serpent surprise. Detector of lies.
4 Guys Adventures and Vibes. Then throw her a business card. just tuck it in her front.
We don't have business cards yet, or if we do, I didn't get any.
Xoth, what are you talking about?
Just my inner monologue, all right?
Oh no, you're not talking to your inner monologue again, Xoth. We haven't even smoked anything, Xoth.
Hey man, sometimes the moment just happens. This is a religious affair, all right?
All right. Let's go back. Okay. So, dirt surrounding, rocks abounding.
Caverns echo with short fellows.
Okay. The cavern echoes with short fellows.
That's it. Okay. Just leave it right there. You're good. Leave the rest up to interpretation.
Is that deep? Is this?
Wait. I'm
It is if there's no answer.
There is if there's no answer.
It's up for you to discover. You have to look inside yourself to find the answer.
We need at least 2 more lines, I feel like, to make it seem like it's a full poem and not just...
Are we leaning into the adventure route, or are we leaning into the bashing this?
I want to use the word confounding.
Why?
Because it would fall into the right lyrical measure, right? You're doing A, B, B. We could go back to A and do a B. A, B, B, A, B.
I just want you guys to know that I'm going to treat this conversation as real time in game.
Absolutely.
However long this takes you is how long it takes you at this party.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get what I'm saying?
Maybe we continue to the party and go get some food and then circle back to this.
Okay, I'll be thinking about it.
All right, man. So I'm gonna go downstairs and go to the reception hall where the food would be.
I'll absentmindedly follow.
Okay.
You what?
Absentmindedly.
You were right. Absentmindedly is the word.
That's not what I said, though. But I'm glad you said that I said that, because it's not what I said.
Okay. You're heading to the reception hall, Xothkug, or are you heading south into the courtyard where like the main course dinner is being served?
Sorry, the courtyard where the main course dinner is.
Okay. And are you going to leave on the balcony, or are you going to go through like ground floor or balcony level? Because both have entrance to that next space.
Let's go on balcony level first.
Okay. So you are on the balcony on the west side of the reception hall. And that means that you're heading past the guest rooms. You pass another set of spiral stairs that are at the very end, and you push through the same oak door that you saw Councilman Flowers push through earlier. And you find yourselves standing on a balcony over the courtyard.
And
at the bottom of a large set of stairs is an open-air space carpeted in thick, lush grass. It would feel soft on your feet to walk on. You're pretty confident. The sun beams pleasantly down on a mid-sized wooden stage at the southern end. On that stage, a bardic troupe now plays gentle ambiance which rolls across the roughly square courtyard to you. Large blankets with baskets of food on them have been set respectful distances apart for the earthier guests, while full-sized round tables draped in spotless white tablecloths with the trademark tumbleweb rubies serving as centerpieces serve the tall folk. Along the eastern side of the courtyard, there's a balcony, so mirroring you, there's another balcony. Perhaps 25 feet up, where two large doors seem never to stop swinging as kitchen staff bustle in and out of them, keeping guests fed and watered. At the north end of this balcony is a large wooden door, presumably leading to the balcony in the reception hall. Several spiral staircases lead from this balcony down to the courtyard itself, enabling kitchen staff to quickly get anywhere they need to be. On the south wall of the courtyard, to either side of the stage, are two large ornate wooden doors inset into another marble wall. So basically, this courtyard is like it's like an in-ground swimming pool almost, but it's grassy on the bottom, so it's like a square chunk that's been cut out, and then on the other side there's like more house that is buried back underground. Tables rolling across it. The other thing that you notice is that on that balcony opposite you, with the servants kind of bustling around and the kitchen staff carrying things, there's also a drow, a bright-haired dark elf with the luminous purple hair and teal eyes that seem not to have pupils. She wears a set of sheaths over her shoulders, holding two swords. And she's got like a whole fleet of ciphers clipped to her hip. And she is just leaning on the railing, scrutinizing the goings-on beneath in the courtyard. She's got very much like a security person's bearing.
Fox, I think I found one security.
One. I found one unit of security.
Yes. Are there lots of guests in the courtyard?
Tons of guests in the courtyard. The courtyard is like where most people are sitting and eating, and then the stage is at the south wall. And again, if you come down from your balcony, you would be able to see that on like the north edge of this area there are a couple of tables with like appetizers, hors d'oeuvres, etc. And on the south end, through those doors, people are going in there to get like main course dishes. So like in one of those rooms, there's just a big buffet table, which you can sort of get glimpses of as other guests walk in and out. There are all sorts of different people who are scattered about the courtyard.
Is there a separate eating place for the servants?
No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like perhaps Basin's servants like have their own quarters within the estate, and it looks like most people who are being attended by servants, most guests, their servants are sitting at their table or just the table next to them.
Hey, okay. Foxman.
Yes?
What if you delivered some food from me to the princess? as like a kind gesture and an introduction point. A courtesy thing.
I think I might be able to pull this off. I got you, Xoth. And I walk over confidently to the buffet.
I'm gonna walk down too.
Okay. To get to the buffet, you're actually pushing through another door. So I'm going to tell you what you see there. Because at the south side of the room, to get to the main buffet, you have to push open one of those doors. It's to the left of the big stage. So on the east side of the courtyard. You push open this big door, and one long marble table is resting atop a maroon runner, which itself protects a stone-tiled floor. The table dominates this dining room. Along the south wall, several wooden hutches display fine Zerugian plateware and pottery. The east wall is bare except for a set of stairs that are climbing eastwards, so going back like deeper into the house, basically. And from time to time, a quiet kitchen hand brings an entree to add to the lavish spread upon the table. There's also an enchanted painting on the south wall that depicts people who are walking past the dining table as though they were walking on a yacht in like rich clothing, kind of perusing the same dining table. And at the bottom of it, you can see the glow of an active cipher that is kind of running this painting, this illusion magic. But the table is spread with all sorts of fine foods. Basically anything you can imagine at a rich person party, it's there. So.
A question. Would I know like the religious affiliation of the Dwarven Kingdom?
The Dwarven Kingdom Gaim they were not founded by a god, so the kingdom doesn't have a particular religious affiliation. But you can roll a religion check to see if you've heard anything about what goes on there.
I would love to. Is it at advantage?
No, it's just religion.
I got a 22.
Okay. There is a mixture of gods there, but the Gaimans generally worship Zanir, and there's a smattering of Awara worshippers and maybe like a tiny percentage of Gomteus worshippers. There are no Kelnor worshippers.
Yeah, figures.
Well, Kelnor is the newest god, so there's less of his following out there in the world. But yeah, so that's that. What are you up to, Flox?
Do I see any of Jess Bayson's servants exiting or entering an area?
There are kitchen staff coming in and out of the dining room. There are also a bunch of kitchen staff coming in and out of what is presumably the kitchens on the balcony, like where the security person is, the drow. The kitchen staff are just kind of bustling in and out. They go in with empty trays and out with full trays. So it's pretty reasonable to assume that's the kitchens. There are also a handful of chamberlains who are just kind of meandering the courtyard, making sure that people's needs are attended to. You know, if someone needs an umbrella, they'll go and fetch one or whatever. And that's what you see.
Okay. I will go ahead, grab some food.
Okay.
And give a thumbs up. Gotcha, Xoth. And I'm gonna walk over back all the way to the princess.
Okay, that'll take you a little bit of time. So let's check in with Xothkug while you do that. Xoth, what are you doing? Or are you just standing?
I'm gonna grab some food and just sit down at a random semi-popular table or semi-crowded table.
Sure. So there are lots of different tables that are semi-populated. One of them in particular, and you can choose whether you sit here or not, but one of them in particular is populated by a tiefling with a crisp military uniform bearing several medals. He's taking his ease at this table, speaking with several presumably lower-ranking members of the same military who wear the same kind of dress clothes but don't have any medals. They are discussing a conquest as you walk by. Do you want to sit with them or do you want to go somewhere else?
Somewhere else. I'm
okay.
Scanning for a little bit more like richer, like rich folk sort of vibe.
Okay. Richer people. You head over to a table where there's a dirt woman with a human male servant standing next to her, and then a bunch of very varied race friends are all gathered around the table. There are 2 seats open, so there is, you could presumably sit down and introduce yourself if you want.
Okay, I'll approach and be like, "Is anyone sitting here?"
Oh no, you can have a seat. Wow, you're remarkably tall, and what a hat! hat. I must know who made such a hat for you.
Ah, thank you. It was the local tailor, Elazar.
Elazar? Oh, yes, I think I've heard of Elazar. Isn't he
Yes.
a bit run down? I'm amazed that you got such quality out of him. It must have cost you an arm and a leg.
Oh, no, not much at all, really.
Oh, well, okay. Have a seat.
Oh, thank you. I sit down. And yes, I came to town and I was ill-equipped for this town's lavish fashion. And so I had to rush order this suit and this hat. And he did an excellent job. So definitely go see him if you're ever in need of lavish clothes.
Ah, from out of town, are we? Fascinating, fascinating. I've been here my whole life, and that's just sort of my locale. But my friends here, they've been all over. A well-traveled group we are. Ah, yes, thank you. She says as her human servant kind of like crouches down next to her dirt and mole folk height and holds a goblet to her lips for her to drink out of.
What are you drinking tonight?
Rose Lion. I always have my servant Morrison hand feed me. It's my rings, the diamonds are authentic. She holds up her rings. Very pretty, but, sharp. They cut through any gloves I try to put on, and of course, it's not an option to take them off. I mean,
no, of course
what's the point of having such exquisite jewelry if I can't show it off? Imported all the way from Gaim, don't you know?
Ooh.
They're a bit uptight, but once we start talking money, they're perfectly reasonable. Only 200 greater wingle digits for this big one on my right hand. Yes, sized and all. Anyway, so yes. I'm having some Rose Lion. It's a softer drink, for an evening such as this. I want to make sure I last the entire evening. Bayson sometimes has some ridiculous antics she gets up to in the late evenings of her parties. I don't want to miss anything.
Have you been to a Bayson party before?
Oh yes, I'm often here for the Bayson parties. My family comes from a long line of influential people in the city of Tumbleweb, and my children who have been attending school are actually potentially going to be transferring to the College of Valor and Lore that Ms. Bayson's going to be opening. They have top grades, of course. So I've made sure to stay connected to Ms. Bayson.
Does she usually make an appearance at least? Does she mingle at all?
Oh, generally she does, but I believe she's mixing a little business and pleasure today. She's been in and out of that room up there, and she points to the end of the balcony where the security person is. The far end of that balcony has another door that leads back into the house, but like to an upper floor instead of the lower floor where the dinner is.
Okay.
She's been in and out. I understand the bards here, the different bardic troops, are all auditioning for teaching roles at the college as well. So there's lots to do. Money never stops.
Yes. So what is it you do in the city?
Mostly influence others. I attend a lot of the exquisite events. It's my husband who's the worker in the city. Councilman Wilson Flowers is his name. I don't know if you've met him or not, but he's he's really the councilman who drives things in Tumbleweb. There's a lot of people on the council. There's that new councilwoman Poppy Whitfield. Don't get me started. All of her crazy ideas about skylights. Anyway, so the real progress in this city comes from Councilman Flowers. Wilson just understands money in a way that the other council folk don't. And it really is, it's great to be in such an established household because I understand spending money in a way that other council folks' wives don't. So it's lovely to just be in such a mutually beneficial relationship, shall we say.
Very nice.
And what about you? What brings you here, foreigner?
We are establishing our business venture in Tumbleweb. Four Guys, Ventures, and Vibes.
An adventuring guild, eh?
Yes, I wouldn't call it a guild yet, but that's the goal one day. We'll have guild houses all over the world.
Sounds like dirty work. And she just turns to one of her, she doesn't ignore you, but she turns to one of her friends and just changes the topic. How's your son doing in primary school? And her friend immediately jumps in. Oh, well, he's showing a real intuition when it comes to the scholastic pursuits. You mark my words, he'll be a renowned historian by the age of 14. Someone sitting, go ahead. What?
I'm going to start eating some food.
You start eating some food. The dirt woman looks over at you, notes that you're eating yourself instead of having a servant feed you, and kind of and turns back to her friend again.
Excuse me, but my servant is doing more important business. I'm sorry, we can't all...
What important business could your servant be doing besides serving you?
He is, doing undisclosed things.
Undisclosed things? And she leans in. What do you mean undisclosed things?
They're business related. You don't want to hear about it, clearly.
Some back alley business dealings, eh?
I
do want to hear about it. You know, I'm married to a councilwoman. I could cover for you.
You said you weren't. You turned away the second I mentioned my adventuring guild. You clearly don't want to hear about that.
Well, if you want to be like that. And she turns and ignores you completely and just like goes back into the conversation with her friend who was talking about his son. Someone else has interrupted him and said, well, you know, it's not who you know. It's not what you know. It's about who you know. How are your connections? I can introduce your son to Mr. Walnut. You know Anthony Walnut, don't you? The historian who wrote the definitive guide to the First Era. He's an old friend of mine, needed to interview me about the topography of the continent of Ko, you know. His works were published in the Floating Library. Another interrupts, that was a magnificent library. Did you ever see it? I was invited there for a tour after providing a few ALF members temporary lodgings in my vacation home in the mountains by Rustfree. It has a magnificent parlor. I ought to show you around sometime if you ever come into enough money to afford the passage. And they continue one-upping each other as the conversation progresses. Meanwhile, Fox, you have re-entered the reception hall, now carrying a platter full of food. You kind of make that like acknowledgement eye contact with the bartender before you head up the stairs. And you are now approaching the lavishly dressed dwarven woman and her subordinate who have not noticed you yet.
Okay. So just to clarify, the food I have gathered was some of the finer cuts of meat. You know, the cuts of meat that are so fine they're actually more art pieces than a meal.
Yeah.
And also a nice dessert with garnish.
One of those desserts that's like one spoonful on a plate that's like a pie size.
Right, yes.
Yeah, like with the stuff sprinkled. Yeah, okay, I got you.
And so I'll bring that over, and I'll bow, and I will humbly apologize. Sorry to bother. My liege has ordered me to give you this, along with he wished you to hear a poem he has written, and would like your opinion.
The subordinate looks at the princess and she says, a poem would be lovely in a time such as this. I'd love to hear it. She turns towards you to hear what you have to say. No one has taken the food from you yet, so like you're still holding it out, but no one has taken it or acknowledged that you're giving it to them yet.
I'll just keep holding it out.
Okay.
Dirt surrounding, rocks abounding, caves filled with echoes made by little fellows. And while these holes are confounding, the town is quaint and mellow.
Roll performance. With advantage for the radio voice.
This is my I roll good dance.
Yeah,
it is.
And this is I can't read my sheet because it looks like it's for ants dance. All right, there we go. 24.
24.
Nice.
An excellent delivery. And as you finish, she like claps. So wonderful, so refined, so nice to hear a real artist in such a barbaric surrounding. And she's not keeping her voice down at all. So like from time to time, kitchen staff or who are walking by are just like, you know, kind of rolling their eyes as they walk by. Says, it's so nice to meet another civilized being. I would love to have a conversation with your liege. Would you tell him from me that he's welcome to come over and join me? My name is Kaitlyn, daughter of Salin, princess of Gaim. And she gives you like a small calling card, like a little fabric calling card that you can take back to Xothkug. And her servant takes your food, but he's still like not quite giving you the stink eye, but he's like, he doesn't trust you yet. He's just like, random dude walked up, said a poem. Like, you know.
I will take the calling card, do a deep bow. It would be my honor. And I will walk back to Xoth.
Cool. You head back down to Xothkug, who is at a table where he's now eating and like not talking to anybody. Like he's being totally ignored by a bunch of rich-looking people.
Okay. I'm gonna help my man out. My liege, Kaitlyn, daughter of Salin, and princess, wishes to see you. She was quite enthralled by what you had to say. And I say this out loud.
Yeah. Thanks for clarifying, buddy.
Yeah.
The conversation on the other end of the table like quiets down, and everyone is sort of like they're kind of murmuring like, oh yeah, Selena was saying about that, but like they're clearly all just listening to like listen into what you're saying. And
Thank you. Good.
Go ahead.
Thank you, good sir. And I take the calling card and I look to the person who rudely shunned me off, and I said, yes. He was acquiring an audience with the princess, as I instructed him. And now, if you'll excuse me, and
After
I just
you,
get up, do like a little coat flick, and
I do say,
walk out.
Roll for sass with advantage. Charisma.
Is that just a what's a sass roll?
Yeah, it's
That's a
charisma.
religion check.
Okay.
Sure. This is the sass. No, there's nothing sassy about Kelnor.
oh,
Is it at advantage or not at advantage?
It's at advantage.
You get the advantage.
Yeah.
Cool. That is a non-natural 20.
Okay. As you get up to walk away, one of them goes, "As I live and breathe," and like, you walk away from the table, clearly having left them stunned with your retort, your witty snapping comeback. You head out of the room. Are you heading back over to Kaitlyn?
Yes.
Okay.
On the way, I'm gonna just be like, I thought that might have been a little over the top, but
They deserved it, I promise you.
I think we're gonna play this whole mysterious businessman thing. I like what we're going here for, okay? So you're the mysterious businessman running the Adventurers Guild that's obviously doing something else on the side. You know, however you've been doing it, you're doing great. You'll never hear that from me again.
Alrighty.
That's
and
hilarious.
What exactly did you say to her?
I gave her the poem that we came up together with. Dirt surrounding, rocks abounding, caves filled with echoes, made by little fellows. And while these holes are confounding, the town is quaint and mellow.
Very good, very good. You know,
As
maybe
Go ahead.
maybe we should add this to one of our services.
Please don't.
Anyways,
As you're heading away from the away from your table and back towards the courtyard, a small commotion behind you catches your attention. You turn around and you notice that to a small smattering of applause, the bards on stage have finished their performance, and people are politely clapping for them the way you do at golf or banquet events. But as you're looking towards that, you also notice that up on the balcony, in the room where it was indicated to you that Jess Bayson is conducting some business, the door opens and out walk two people. First is unmistakably Jess Bayson. You recognize her from her sculpture of herself and all the paintings around the thing. She's a slim halfling woman with wavy red hair. She wears leather knee-high boots over tailor black trousers and a cyan sundress drawn in at the middle with a leather sash. Her skin has the look of one who regularly sees the sun, unusual for residents of Tumbleweb, and her eyes betray a sharp intellect that seems always to be thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead of the current conversation. She is walking next to Elaine Mollusk. Elaine Mollusk, who walks out with her. They shake hands, and Jess Bayson pats Elaine Mollusk on the back, like good to see you, buddy. Kind of a pat on the back, a friendly pat on the back, and Elaine Mollusk walks off. Fox, your keen rogue's eyes pick up a subtle nod from Jess Bayson to whoever the security person is, and the security person visibly relaxes. Jess Bayson then walks down the stairs while Elaine Mollusk passes the security person and walks back towards the reception hall. Jess Bayson goes into the dinner room and is getting herself a plate of food and apparently about to mingle among her guests, while Elaine Mollusk is heading back towards the reception hall.
I'll say, Fox, you go back in there. I'm still gonna go see the princess. It's rude to keep royalty rating.
Which one do I tail?
Decisions.
Well, one of them looks like they're leaving. So I'll go after Elaine.
Alrighty, you do you.
Always do. Xoth, always do.
I will like make sure my code is straightened out, just brush out any wrinkles and then head over to the princess.
Okay.
And I will casually try to follow Xoth as much as I can while keeping an eye until I need to break away.
Okay. You so you're kind of walking together, but with different destinations, and then eventually you part. Which of you should we follow first? Wash, whose adventure should we go into first? Should we follow Elaine Mollusk, or should we go speak with the princess?
If it's even, we'll go with Fox. If it's Xoth, we'll go odd. We'll go with Xoth.
If it's
Xoth is a bit odd.
Even in
It's a
Xoth.
natural 1, so we'll go with Xoth.
Of course.
Wow, that's so disappointing for you that like one of your only rolls so far of the night has been a natural 1.
And it's on me.
Yes. Okay, so you head back to Kaitlyn,
Number one
daughter
in
of
my heart.
Salin. And as you approach without Fox, the servant her like subordinate turns to interrupt you and says, "Keep walking, stranger. You're not important enough to approach this table."
I hold out the calling card. I sent my servant.
My mistake.
Of course.
He steps back, and Kaitlyn stands as she sees you holding the calling card. She says, "You'll have to forgive Balin here. He's a little bit overzealous in his protection of the royal family. Not that there's anything here that could dare cause any threat to me." And she walks over to you, enchanted to make your acquaintance, and she holds out a hand.
I kiss her hand and do a deep bow. The hat tip.
Yep, and the hat tip like bends over, and the little cup comes down, and you're able to like drink out of it, and then it goes back up again. There's not actually any liquid in there, as far as I know.
Xothkug Hibbo, at your service.
A pleasure to meet you. A pleasure to meet you. Did you compose that poem all by yourself?
I did.
It's so nice to meet a poet, someone with a refined knowledge of the arts in a place like this. I rarely expected it. What brings you to a town like this? Surely you can't be a local.
No, of course not. I am setting up an adventurers guild here.
Ah, an adventurers guild. Will you be participating or just delegating?
Delegating, of course. My adventuring days are far, far behind me.
Naturally. I could see by the exquisite clothes you wear, you seem to have already looted your fair share of dungeons, if indeed adventuring is your background.
It is.
Well, it's nice to meet someone who knows how to dress, for sure. And she takes her seat at the table and kind of, waves at a chair for you to take a seat.
I sit down. Could I get you a drink?
Drink sounds marvelous. What are you having?
I will be ordering a whiskey.
Very well. I'll have what you're having.
Okay. And then I put the cipher in.
Great.
And then I message 2 whiskeys, please.
Okay, 2 cinnamon pearl whiskeys coming right up. And the kitchen staff are on their way to you, but haven't quite made it back. So, what was it that caused you to seek an audience with me?
Oh, well, it's not often you see royalty in a place like this.
Well,
this dirty place.
Indeed, a dirty place is perhaps the best way to describe it. I'm actually here in place of my mother, Salin, the Queen of Gaim. I'm just responding to an invitation from Ms. Bayson, who, we don't really know quite what she wants. The lackey chimes in. Oh, I know what she wants. She wants to distribute from Gaim, or she wants a monopoly on Gaim and jewelry. And of course, a monopoly would be ridiculous. Yes, Balin, we understand. As I said, a bit overzealous. But let's not talk about such boring things now. What is it that your business? Why start a business now? What do you have to offer to the world of adventuring?
I wouldn't say it's more so another branch. You see, I'm obviously from the surface, and so we have a few branches already. And so when the Wingle Digits thing came up, I had to get in on the action. And
Wingle Digits. She kind of scoffs a little bit. Give me jewels any day.
Well, it is the currency of the people, or starting to be, and it's just better to adopt early than late. I
suppose I can see the logic in that.
And the the banks near me just didn't have enough to for me to convert all of the gold that I needed, so I had to come to the source.
Money's boring. Tell me a tale of adventure. Tell me about one of your previous adventures.
Alrighty. So, we were exploring in the caverns.
Who's we? Who did you travel with?
Me and my adventuring group. It was a dirt folk, believe it or not.
A dirt folk?
Yes.
How did you get him to leave his precious molehill?
I didn't. I ran into him.
Oh, okay. Go on.
A changeling, surprisingly, a longtime friend. We grew up in the same town together. And a Aasimar, if you believe it.
I believe it.
So,
and what did you do?
This unlikely band, we started our adventure in one of the dirt tunnels. Quite not the best start to an adventure, but we grew to our companionship, and one of the first things that happened, we come down, we enter this cave, we think, and it's just the abyss, like just black going down this wall. Like the wall just disappears into black and we can't see anything out.
Wow.
And so we start climbing down these ladders in the wall.
There were ladders just there in the middle of the cave?
There were.
Fascinating.
Very. And so, as we're going down, we get attacked by some carrion crawlers. We're like, oh no, this ledge can't hold everyone. It's a bad place to fight. And the dirt man was like, trust me, guys. And so we all jump off of this cavern. We just jump off into the abyss.
And you took a dirt folk's word for it?
Absolutely. We had already known each other a long time, so we were good friends, and I trusted him. And so we just fall, endless falling. And then he casts some spell, and it creates this sort of pocket dimension, and there's a rope that comes out of it, and then we swing around this dimension and end up inside of it.
You mean to say that he did magic?
Yes.
Real magic?
Real magic.
How could he do this?
This was before the darkening.
Roll deception.
To be his lawyer in this moment, I will like to advocate and say, technically, he said this was a long time ago. His venturing days are long behind him.
But the story
why he is lying.
The story is telling was true up until that point.
Why he is lying, I think he deserves one advantage.
I'm gonna use my advantage from chat, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay, never mind.
I can speak up for Xoth. He was probably thinking it was just very dark.
I got a 16.
All right.
Oh.
Ah, yes, of course. Before the darkening. Very well.
And so, that was probably about a week into our adventuring. Very, very crazy. We must have fallen a mile. Not that I would ever do that again, but makes for a great story.
What a story indeed. Wow, you simply must visit Gaim at some point. Once your business is up and running, you should come and visit the Queendom. I will make sure that there's someone there to show you around, and perhaps, who knows, maybe you can establish a branch of business.
That would be amazing. I haven't made it out to Gaim yet. You must tell me, what is it like?
Oh, it's magnificent. It's not like one of these, if you can call it a city, these dirt folk cities where they've sort of left it made of dirt. No, we have hollowed out the inside of several mountains, and then we have reconstructed inside them from wood, stone, and marble these different structures that all hang from the top of the mountain, connected by bridges. And so each structure is built to be exactly what is necessary. You know, you start at nothing and then you insert what is required. And the outside of the structures, they all gleam because they're covered in different jewels that represent the district in which they reside. And so the torchlight reflects off of all of the different surfaces and creates this incredible multicolored experience. And at the top of each mountain, we've left an opening to the sun so that the sun's light can come come in and it can bounce off of the different gems during the day, and then at the night it is our torches and the moon that bounces off of the different things. It is a fascinating place. It is truly wonderful, and it's directly above the mines that provide all of our trademark jewels. So you can look down at any point in time and see the progress of the mining.
That is amazing.
It is a wonderful place.
I cannot wait to visit. Hopefully the paperwork goes smoothly and we can get this branch up and running.
Yes. Well, if it doesn't work out for you here, I can see to it that you receive a charter of commerce in Gaim. So
excellent.
Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to waive the fees. That's not really something they let the royal family have a hand in. But I can fast track you to the front of the list.
I would love nothing more.
While this conversation is happening, Fox, you have split off from Xothkug in order to pursue Elaine Mollusk. And because you're on the ground and she's on the balcony, I'm assuming that you're just kind of moving parallel with her while she heads down the balcony. So she actually passes the princess from Gaim and like rounds the corner and heads across the balcony to the other side. But then instead of leaving as you expected her to do, she actually passes and moves to guest room number 3, opens up guest room number 3, walks inside, closes the door behind her.
Okay. I will go back to the bar, grab a glass of water.
As you do.
Have I seen anybody around her when she walked this entire path, or did she do this all alone?
She's walking by herself. I mean, she's past people like servants and, guests who are sitting at tables, but she's not, there's no companion with her.
Okay. I will walk up, and check door number 2 with a glass of water as if though I'm delivering it. Not door 3, but door 2.
Let's clear the tension pool and see what's in there.
Oh, no.
Okay, you knock on door number 2 and then open it the way a servant would, housekeeping, and you kind of push the door open, and room 2 is completely empty. It's just like room number 1 was. It's pristine.
Okay.
At your knock on that door, Elaine Mollusk's door makes a click. Someone has turned a lock.
Right. I will go in, and can I tell, based off of, I've seen room 1, I'm in room 2, how thick these walls roughly are?
The walls are between 6 and 10 feet thick. Like, you're kind of guesstimating. So it's like, there's give or take a yard because like depth and sound and air pressure and stuff. But like...
Feet? Oof.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, these are... Your privacy.
Yeah.
you're not getting sound through that. Okay.
That's exactly right. Yep.
If only we had Jeb with us. Okay.
Are you saying you can't dig through dirt?
I'm just gonna, you know what? Since I'm in here, I closed the door behind me. Since nobody's in here, it looks like.
Yeah.
I'll take a quick moment to just shuffle around, see if there's any like complimentary stuff or perhaps anything that's not meant for guests.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you are going through the room, you're searching for stuff. Roll an investigation for me.
I rolled a nat 1.
No.
The panic involved in that roll.
That was the oneiest nat 1 ever.
Yeah. Okay. You are... So, okay, here's what happens. So you're searching around the room, you don't find anything. But then as you go to...
Darn.
Yeah, so surprise. Are you leaving the room now?
I try to leave it as I found it, but yes.
Right.
After, I will head out the door and classically be like, oh, wrong door.
Okay. You leave the room, step out into the balcony. Mostly your attention is focused on Elaine Mollusk's room because she's the one you're tailing, but
right.
you have some trouble reflexes, and your trouble reflexes tell you to take a glance towards the reception hall floor, and you notice a new guest there who you didn't see before. It is Pheloth, the supervisor from Dig Site 6, whose office you robbed. He's in, you know, like a fine suit jacket and tuxedo and everything, and he's got his like Dig Site 6 like kind of emblem emblazoned on his left shoulder, and he is sitting there having a conversation with someone.
I'm going to look away from him.
Okay.
And make sure nobody else can currently see my face. Like, I'm going to look back at the door.
Okay.
Essentially, point blank range. Mold my face.
Okay.
Completely different person, you know.
Yeah.
Nice, square jaw. You know, a little bit of a mustache growing in. Neatly trimmed.
Yeah.
And I will make my way down to Phelan.
Okay. You head down towards Pheloth's table, and he is sitting there talking with a couple other people who, as you get closer, you realize they must also be dig site supervisors. There are like 4 or 5 of them there, and each of them is talking about like, yeah, well, it was a little bit challenging before we got the new model of mining machines in it, you know, just like generic, like sort of site supervisor conversations, if there is such a thing as generic site supervisor conversation. But you kind of hear them talking. Are you going to sit down at the table, or are you just walking by?
I'm just walking by currently, scheming.
So kind of Miss Bayson to invite us to a party like this. Yes, the partnership between Thames and the Bright World Company has been wonderful. It's been so helpful in transporting things out of our dig sites.
Okay. Good to know. I don't say that out loud.
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead, I guess, walk up, hello, can I get you gentle folk anything?
Ah, servant, lovely, great timing. Yes, I'd love some hors d'oeuvres, thank you. And he just like
Right
turns
away.
right back to the table and continues his conversation. Okay. Are you gonna go get him actual hors d'oeuvres?
Yeah, why not?
You duck back out into the courtyard for a brief moment, hit up the hors d'oeuvres table, which is right at that wall that's closest to you anyway. Pick up just like a spread of different, you know, appetizers and things. You head back to him. It's got like, you know, the classic, like the bread with the seasoning and the oil, and then there's some different like, you know, little sushi rolls and a couple other things. You just bring all that back. There's the little like you were talking about, like the art cut of meat. It's like one of those rolled up with a toothpick in it and then a disgusting cherry tomato on top, and like, you know, stuff like that. You like come back and you hold out the platter to them, and each of them kind of takes things. Yeah.
Did you say disgusting cherry tomato?
Yeah. Well, it's the only
like
kind of cherry tomato, but
I like cherry tomatoes.
I think Josh is the only one here that doesn't like cherry tomato. Do we need to stop the game, guys?
Yeah, we need to
that's
talk
the stream.
about
Thanks
it.
for hanging out with
cherry
us.
tomatoes.
Hold on, Chad, do you like cherry tomatoes?
I used to like
need a
cherry
poll in the
tomatoes,
chat.
and then I saw that scene in Lord of the Rings, you know the one, and now I don't like cherry tomatoes.
I don't know the one.
I don't know the one.
In the last,
I don't know the one scene to rule them all.
In Return of the King, when Denethor is sitting there eating dinner and he's just squishing cherry tomatoes, and they like
I know what
they went so far with the sound design that it's like I just can't handle it. It was the end of the cherry tomato in my life.
That's what did it for you?
That's what did it for me.
Well,
I didn't realize that this was a full
Next
stop
time on Winged
kind
Edger
of
Tavern.
reveal. Yeah. Wow.
I don't know if I can be in this D&D
We found the
campaign.
final boss, guys. We found the final boss.
The final boss is a single cherry tomato.
It's Josh's worst
We're digging
nightmare.
into Josh's backstory.
Yeah, right? Wow. Oh, that's a twist. I was not expecting that in his backstory. Is
Point to this cherry tomato where it hurts you.
Okay, so you hang my ears. So you hang out with the appetizers at the table, doing the thing with the dig site supervisors and the cherry tomatoes that I guess are good. And you hold out the platter, and they all take some appetizers, and then they go back to their conversation without kind of acknowledging you any further.
Sure. I will politely stand around for like 10 seconds, make sure they don't need anything, and then
Go ahead.
walk off.
Okay. For those 10 seconds, what they're talking about, their conversation has turned to, has there been any progress on the people who robbed your dig site? He says, oh, well, the investigation's ongoing. We've actually contracted a few of the deputies here in town to see if they might have made it through Tumbleweb or tried to use the Tumbleweb city to access the overworld. So hopefully we'll have a good lead on anything like that. We've got all the sketches and things, so, progress is being made.
Note to self. Gonna have to go rob a police station. Some sketch might have to disappear. Some sketches. Okay. On that note, I will make my way back to my liege.
Great.
As you politely stand away.
Yeah, as you walk away from the table with dig site supervisor Pheloth, and you head back towards the corner of the reception hall where Xothkug is currently sitting across the table from Kaitlyn, Princess of Gaim. You also notice the drow takes it just like a confident lap of the balcony, basically doing like a security person who's just kind of like making a round. And she walks back out the other side. And as you're watching, just kind of following her path with your eyes, one of the other servants who's walking by says, she creeps me out too. Don't know why we can't have that Sheriff Hank Spur. Now there's a respectable gentleman. But no, it's always Mavira lately. And pushes on and continues doing, servanty things and delivering platters and stuff.
I nod, yeah.
And you now rejoin Xothkug, who is sitting across from the Princess of Gaim, who is regaling him with tales of her city. And the castle has this magnificent reception hall, about 4 times the size of this room that we're in now. And it's got this incredible fire at the center. Instead of a hearth with a chimney, it's more like a volcano where the fire's at the center and then the smoke leads up towards the top of the mountain, so that when there is a party, you can see it for acres and acres around the mountain. You can tell that there's an activity happening. It's a wonderful place to rest. Is this your servant?
Yes.
That's right. You delivered the original poem. Your delivery is coming along nicely, though I think you could work on refining the timbre of your voice a bit.
Of course. It honors me to have your feedback.
He looks different, right?
Yeah, he looks totally different.
I just roll with it.
Yeah.
I love that she doesn't even realize.
Yeah,
that's she pays that little attention to him.
Yeah, servants are beneath her notice. Her lackey is looking at you and kind of squinting a little bit, but he doesn't say anything because his princess has already acknowledged him.
I look at him and I make eye contact and just kind of shrug my shoulders. I don't know what she's talking about. But
the clothes are the same, right?
Yeah, he's the same except his face. He didn't change his height or anything.
It's details.
Ooh, you said you were a purveyor of the arts. Let me show you one more thing. And then I take a lil and put it in the hat to turn it on.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. You're going to activate the hat. Remind me what your hat does. I don't even remember what it means to activate your hat.
Activating it just makes it glow a little bit, it flashes lights.
Oh yeah, the sun rises out of the mug. Yeah. He goes, "This is truly marvelous. Did you develop it yourself?"
I did not. It was the local tailor, surprisingly.
A local tailor to this area?
Yes.
What is his name? Where can we find his shop?
Elazar, and he's the small tailor shop. Where is it? Just inside.
You tell them where it is.
Okay.
It's in the bowl, but yeah.
Yeah.
She snaps her fingers. Make a note of that, Balin. Go fetch him. He must come back with us. And Balin stands up immediately and leaves the party. As he's leaving the party, you notice a deputy walk in, looking very out of place, and escorted by the doorman with his pipe coming out of his mouth. And they stand there and they kind of exchange a few words, and then the doorman points very forcibly to a chair for the deputy to sit in, and then the doorman in turn has a conference with a couple of servants. Fox, roll me perception.
I just had it. Where did it go? Oh, found it. Found the D20.
Good.
Ooh, 11.
Okay, you can't overhear everything they're saying, but you distinctly overhear them saying, "Find Mollusk and keep it quiet, okay? We don't need to cause a scene just because there's been bad news at her estate." And the servants all separate off and head out where they're going. Welcome, Ari, to the chat.
Hi, Ari. We're in the middle of a fancy party.
We are. Okay. Meanwhile, at the table, yeah.
I'm gonna lean in to my liege, and whisper into his ear. All right. If they approach us, don't look. If somebody approaches us asking about crimes or anything, follow my lead.
Oh, yes. Okay.
What was your servant saying? Secrets are for sharing.
He was just saying he did not recommend getting the volcano drink.
I was looking at that unholy volcano. You don't recommend it? Why not?
Well, I've seen that perhaps it may be a little too strong of a drink for enjoying the entire night.
Is that so? Well, a refined woman knows not to get plastered until the party's already finished. It goes back to whatever she like orders another Rose Lion, which is like a very light champagne drink. At that moment, one of the servants approaches your table and says, "Have either of you seen Miss Elaine Mollusk? She's a guest at the party. She's a female gnome, large green eyes, blonde hair."
Last I saw her, she was out in the eating area with Jess Bayson.
Interesting. Miss Bayson is currently conducting an evaluation with some of the bards who are performing tonight. I wonder where Miss Mollusk may have gotten off to.
She must have wandered off. Yeah, sorry.
I'll continue checking around. Thank you. And stands up and walks off. All right. The servant leaves.
I need my shoulder advisors. All right.
Oh, sorry. Go, Matt.
Do I go confront Elaine? Or do I just go YOLO and just try to go into like the deep quarters of this area?
Well, whatever you've decided comes with a blessing from chat. They have cast the bless spell on you.
Yes.
Nice.
Go big or go home.
Both. Noted. My liege.
Whichever one's more dangerous. It's Darkwing Duck time. We gotta get dangerous.
My liege, if you excuse me, the task that you had assigned to me has come up, and I'll only be back shortly.
Alrighty. Go on. I just wave my hand.
I will bow, and I'll also bow a little deeper to the princess and wander off to room number 3 for no reason.
Her eyes don't even fully look over towards you. The princess just kind of waves a hand of acknowledgement at you. And then she turns back to Xothkug and goes, So tell me another of your poems. Meanwhile, Matt walks away from the table.
Oh, no.
Fox, you are walking across the balcony away from the table. You can hear that, but it's too late. Towards guest room number 3. You walk over to guest room 3, and what are you doing? Are you knocking, or are you just going to try and go in? What's the play here?
I will knock,
There's no answer from inside the room.
Miss Elaine, there's someone here to see you.
No answer from inside the room.
I'm gonna look around. Anybody nearby looking?
There's a deputy who's sitting there at a table by the entrance, but he's not looking towards you. He's looking frustrated and looking into the distance for the return of the doorman. There doesn't seem to be anybody else watching.
Palm my thieves' tools because I always have my thieves' tools.
That's true.
And pretend that I'm using a key, normally, and pick this lock as quick as I can.
Okay. Roll sleight of hand for me.
That will be a non-nat 20.
Okay. You are able to pick the lock. You're pretty good at this. you take a second to like, it's this kind of lock. Doot, 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 and it just clicks open in your hand. You turn the doorknob, push open the door, head into the room, and there's nobody there. But this room is clearly in use. It's been cleaned by housekeeping, but there are possessions in the room. You know, there's like a suitcase and different things in the room that suggest that someone is sleeping here. Not a ton of possessions, but like a handful of books, you know, a little sketch pad, things like that. And there's also a couple of different glasses that have been used. One of them's got some kind of alcohol and one of them is a glass of water. There's a small plate with some crumbs on it, but the room itself is deserted.
Can I tell if it's just Elaine, or is there any other signs that somebody else has been here? Clothes, items that don't fit?
It seems like there's only the one person staying here.
Okay.
It's all gnome-sized clothing.
Okay. Okay. Then I'm gonna give myself 1 minute.
Okay.
And I'm going to look. It's just like all the other rooms, right? No normal doorway to anywhere, right?
Right. It's like an open concept hotel room, basically, is what it looks like.
Then I will search for a trap door or secret door somewhere. I assume since the walls are made of dirt that I'm probably going to be looking either for an illusion or behind furniture.
Okay. I'm going to add a die to the tension pool as you do this.
And that's investigation, right?
That is investigation.
12.
12. All right. You're spending 1 minute searching the room with an investigation of 12.
Yeah, I figured I'd just run my hand along the wall.
Yeah.
Peek behind furniture.
So you go through this process and you've made most of the way around the room without finding anything, and you're starting to think maybe this is just a regular room. When you get to the sort of like personal sink that has, you know, it's like well fed. You get to the personal sink and your hand passes right through it. Like there's no water there. It's an illusion.
Well, would you look at that? Well, shoulder advisors, you did say go big or go home. So I just go and try to feel my way through. I pause. I look down.
Let's do it.
The clothes I'm wearing are very identifiable, right?
Yeah, they're like super nice servants' clothes. Like rich person servants' clothes. That match Xoth's suit exactly. Color palette and everything. Remember that?
I go behind a changing rack.
Okay.
And I look to see if there's just spare uniforms or anything in the dressers that are like complimentary.
Okay. There are not.
Okay.
But meanwhile, while you're looking for that, at the other table, Xothkug is delivering another of his poems for Kaitlyn, Princess of Gaim.
So she asked for another poem, and
Yeah.
then I think for a bit, and I'm like, all right. Slithering snake, detector of lies, no life in his wake, all-seeing eyes, world forsake, Kyvern the wise.
Roll performance. It's party related, so you can have advantage on it
Heck yeah.
because of your hat.
Yeah.
That would be a 16.
It is magnificent. You surely must be working on a book. Are you preparing a book of poetry?
Not yet. It's just a personal hobby. Adventuring guilds are very tedious and difficult to set up, but I am working on an adventuring book of my tales.
Oh, an adventuring book of your tales. Who's writing it?
I haven't found an author yet. I've just scribbled down everything that I remember so far.
Oh, I see. Well, when you're looking for refined authors, the authors in Gaim are the finest in the world. We have the most refined art in any of the civilized world. Meanwhile, jumping back over to Fox, who is looking for a change of clothes and not finding it.
Okay. This is okay. This is we're going full. All right. I will completely dress down. I mean, no clothes.
Okay.
Whatsoever. Okay. I will try to fold them as neatly and try to hide them under a dresser, maybe.
Okay.
Instead of like putting them in the dresser, right?
Sure, roll stealth.
I literally just there it is. I don't know how I keep doing. I fiddle with it and I just put it down somewhere. Ah!
Well, that was an adventure in and of itself.
I have a blessing, right?
You do. You can add a d4 to any roll. That's like, give me something. Give me something.
Okay, I'm doing math.
He's doing math. He's doing math, chat.
Okay.
Bum.
You thought it was Matt, but it's math.
8?
Matt, you have bless.
He used his blessing, I think.
I did.
Yeah. So you shove the clothes under the dresser in a way that you think is pretty well hidden. And you are now like Starkers in this person's room. What are you doing?
I am shape-shifting
Okay.
into a what is something that's the same size as me?
There are lots of things.
A minotaur or a satyr?
Okay.
One of the two. Is a minotaur a size bigger?
Yeah, minotaurs are huge, I think.
Okay. I'll do a satyr.
Okay. So go
And let
legs.
the fur cover things.
Okay.
I will get a little goatee, little short brown hair.
So
you just
Mr.
stealing
Tumnus from
Hercules?
Narnia. Oh, we took that two different ways.
Well, actually, is there any? Did Elaine have a red scarf?
Actually, no. When you look in Elaine's closet, there are 3 outfits there. They're all identical. They're all brown overalls, blue bow ties, white blouse.
Okay, then never mind. Yeah. I will now venture forth, completely unrecognizable through the illusion.
Okay. You venture forth through the illusion. You pop your head through to the other side and stick your head through. And what you see is about a 5-foot wide vertical tunnel. There's a ladder leading down into the distance and it goes way down.
No. Yeah, I'll go ahead and is there this is a well-made dirt tunnel, isn't it? So there's not any rocks or anything.
Oh, right. Yeah, this is a smooth tunnel with a ladder.
Okay. I peek my head back in the room. Still nobody here, right?
I don't know. Let's find out. I'm going to roll the tension pool. You do be going a little crazy here, buddy.
Go big or go home.
Okay. There's nobody in the room at the moment.
Okay, I'm just gonna pick up a random thing, like a comb, something small,
Okay.
and then dip back in and drop it.
It falls for a while, and then you hear a small splash.
How long would you say it fell?
I would say it fell approximately the length of time that something might fall if it were falling a distance of about 100 feet.
Seems that's about 100-foot drop.
You should jump in. There's water at the bottom.
It's way less than a mile. You'll be fine.
Yeah, right.
There's water at the bottom. You can't take fall damage.
I'm gonna go
Surely it
ahead.
won't be 2 inches deep.
Yeah,
It's
right.
gotta be deeper than 2 inches deep.
I'm gonna go ahead and go down the ladder like a sane person who's not trying to die from having their shins in their jawline.
Okay.
And I will try to be stealthy about it. You know, I don't want to do click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, going down. Oh my goodness. 9.
All right. You clip clop down as stealthily as can be. You're pretty confident that you are well hidden. I'm going to add a die to the tension pool.
Well, as confident as I can with hooves.
Yeah. You head down the ladder, and at the bottom, now that you're nearer to the bottom, the smell is getting up to you. It smells like sewage.
No.
What's out now, man? You got this.
Full Shawshank.
I'll keep going down, but I'm gonna start touching the walls as I go down. Like one hand just like touching the 3 walls like this. Well, you can't see. Like this, kind of just like touching the back wall behind me and the side walls. At this point, I'm tempted to see if there's like an illusion. I'll roll investigation.
You don't need to roll an investigation. There's not that far for you to investigate. Like your hand can reach everything. So you're climbing down the ladder and you're looking for an illusion and you're not finding anything. And you get to the point where your hooves are like 2 inches above the water. And you find a small little depression in the wall directly behind the ladder. And when you hook your hand in there, you realize there's another illusion and that you can crawl through on your belly. You can like crawl through into some other space.
Where am I going? Okay. I become a very lithe satyr.
Yep.
A very lithe satyr, so I can fit and crawl my way through.
He's a light satyr.
Ahead of you.
Oh.
Ahead of you stretches a tunnel. You can now stand up now that you've gone through there's a small opening, but once you crawl through, you can stand up in the tunnel. Ahead of you, it is a long walkway. It's 10 feet tall, 1 person's width wide, like a normal tall folk, so about 5 feet wide. Okay. And it stretches off into the distance for a little ways before it forks in a T shape, so like it goes left or right, but not forward.
Do I see any signs that someone's been through either passage recently?
You can see torchlight flickering ahead of you on both the right and left. Like flickering back around the bend towards you, I mean.
The floor is still dirt, right?
No, the floor is stone.
Is it slimy?
Yes.
You shouldn't have listened to me.
All right. I will righty-tighty and
What?
go right.
What are you tightening?
Tightening this buckle so I don't lose my... Yeah, no, I'll go to the right.
Called puckering.
The tension builds as you walk down the tunnel and make a right turn around the T. You can now see the tunnel is lit at regular intervals by torchlight and stretches a long distance from you. You're based on the kind of sense of direction that you have from the room above you. You're pretty sure it's stretching the length of the estate. Like if you go forward from here, it will take you past the courtyard and towards the dining room. But the tunnel stretches for a long way, and you can see every now and then there is a doorway leading off to your right again. So back towards, like the same kind of tunnel you just came in through.
How many of these?
There are 6.
6.
and they're spaced pretty far apart.
Okay. Can I tell how far they go, roughly? Are they varying lengths?
Oh, if you walk up to one and look down it, you can. Right now, all you can see is that there's tunnels off to the side.
I'll walk up to the first one and peek my head in.
You walk up to the first one and peek your head in. And looking into that tunnel, you see that this one is just like the one you just came down. So it's a very short way, a little thing that you can go through, and then it climbs up into the, back up towards something. There's a big ladder that leads upwards. And underneath it is the, kind of the sewage line from the estate.
Okay. Go to the next one.
You go to the next one. At the end of this one, so looking around the bend, you can see that it stretches for about 20 feet, and then there is a circular stone room. There's no water in the room, although the floors are all slimy. But there's a circular stone room, and at the center of it, apparently asleep or unconscious or something, is Elaine Mollusk, a female gnome with green eyes hidden under messy shoulder-length blonde hair and the distinct pointed ears of a gnome. She is breathing, like her chest is moving or whatever. It's not like she's dead, but she's just kind of laying there on the ground.
Hey, shoulder advisors. This seems like a big moment, right? Like, I might have bit off a little bit more than I could chew. Do I wake her up?
We saw the nod from Jess to the security guard. Maybe this was a hit.
Grow some bigger teeth. You got this.
Grow some bigger teeth.
Also, the guards are looking for her. You may not want to get involved with whatever she's involved with.
You need to figure out if there's a connection between this thing and the aboleths.
Okay. Can I recall when we were researching, I'm pretty sure Alan's probably the one who probably told us about the aboleths.
Mm-hmm.
Did he mention anything about, like, signs of when people are possessed?
No, I don't believe there were any signs. Or at least he didn't know of any.
She might cut you a big fat check.
As you stand there wondering what to do, the tension in the moment builds.
Alright, I gotta go forward. I cautiously make my way forward.
I'm gonna clear the tension pool. Okay. I have rolled the tension pool. It has had an outcome. You cautiously make your way forwards down the tunnel. There are no traps or anything, and you're able to get into the stone room. It is a circular room, about 15, maybe 20 feet in radius, so about 40 feet in diameter, and it's only 15 feet tall, so the ceiling's not that much higher than the tunnels themselves. It's clearly intentionally made because it's carved from stone. And all that's in there is Elaine Mollusk laying on the ground.
Is it lit up?
Only by the torchlight from the hallway that's kind of coming in, so it's dimly lit.
I will crouch down over Elaine.
Mm-hmm.
She's breathing, you said.
She is breathing. You can make a medicine check to try and determine any more than that if you want.
I'll try. It's not my specialty.
Get her to
I'm hoping a little bit of Xoth rubbed off. That's a 13.
Okay. With your 13, you aren't really able to glean much more other than you can't see any visible wounds. Like, she doesn't appear to have been stabbed or cut or hurt or anything. She's just laying there on the ground, sleeping.
Okay.
Probably just sleeping.
Wake her up.
No harm in waking her up.
I'm gonna put a hand gently just above her mouth and go to wake her up. And if she jolts, I'm gonna cover her mouth.
Okay. What does wake her up mean? Like, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna
to
shake
wake
her shoulder.
Okay.
Shake her shoulder.
You shake her shoulder. Her body moves like she's there. It's not an illusion, but she does not react or respond.
I pick her up.
Okay. You do.
Piggyback ride style.
The tension in the room builds.
Belly.
Wake me up inside! Save me!
Are you gonna bust out into song? Because like that stuff's gonna reverberate through the stone tunnels.
No.
I bet the acoustics are great down there.
I bet, right? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and walk back to where I came from.
The like ladder down.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna make my way back to that ladder.
You make your way back to the ladder. As you are making your way back to that ladder, you kind of like round the corner into the hallway, and the torchlight is kind of flickering, and so it's hard to see in the shadows and the lights and the different things. But meanwhile, upstairs, the Princess of Gaim is saying to Xothkug, Now, how exactly are you planning to publish your book? Do you have a marketing strategy in place for it?
Not yet. My main focus is on the Adventuring Guild, and then once that's all set up and dealt with, I will focus more on the book. And like it'll be like a sort of like done in sequences where it's like the first half is like my adventuring days, and the second half is how I built the adventure like guilds in the business. You know.
An adventuring guild. I just can't imagine it. For someone as refined as you are, it just seems outlandish. I imagine you must be delegating most of the work to other people, but still, like I'm not sure that I would even want my name sullied by such a thing. But to each their own, of course.
It's honest work most of the time.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
And we need adventurers in this world. And as someone who has formerly adventured, you know, I just want to provide for that community and help foster it and create a more stable environment for adventurers and those who seek them.
I see. And tell me about this mug on top of your hat. What does that mean?
Ah, yes, the mug. That is the symbol of my god, Kelmore.
And on that note, we jump back down to the dungeon underneath the estate where Fox is. I'm assuming you're carrying her like Superman style, where you like catch the falling person and you're like walking.
Oh no,
I'm
hunched her over my shoulders. So I'm like.
Oh okay. Like
I figure she's
back.
light.
Yeah, she is. She's a gnome. Yeah. Okay, so you are walking down the tunnel.
Oh.
Yes.
I want to turn my skin and fur to the color of the stone.
Okay. That makes sense. Good idea. You walk down with no incident. Nothing seems to encounter you or communicate with you or anything like that. You round the corner back to the ladder. Remember, there's like that really narrow gap that you have to crawl through before you're actually at the ladder, but you're able to get back to where you were without any issues.
Okay. I'm going to go feet first.
Okay.
And I'm just going to kind of drag her by the shoulders.
Okay.
With me as I go through.
Okay.
And then once I get onto the ladder, I'll position myself steadily on the ladder, and then I will drag her out. Because it's behind the ladder, right?
Yeah, it's behind the ladder.
Okay. I will attempt to drag her out. I might have to lean. I guess I can lean back against the wall, right? Like this is a tight vertical shaft.
It's 5 feet, but it's not like cramped, but it's tight. Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I'll lean back with my back up against the wall so I can pull her out all the way.
Okay.
I
see
about
so
how
you
I'm
have, like
gonna...
your feet are propped away from the ladder and your back is against the ladder so that you can slide her through. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Roll athletics to both hold yourself in place and then also pull her towards you without dropping her.
Feet don't fail me now. That is a 15.
That's a 15.
Respectable.
The tension mounts as you are able to pull her through the gap, and basically now, like, because of the way you're sitting, you've kind of pulled her forwards and she's sort of slumped forward into you. but you're like she's through the hole, but you're not able to climb because your back is against the ladder.
Right.
But you're in a stable position.
I guess I will try to pull her around to my side. So she's in front of me, right?
Yeah.
Kind of in my lap almost. I will try to scooch and position her around my side. I'm going to test the weight. Can I just one arm her?
Roll strength. Let's find out.
Oh no.
Yeah, because before I do this, I want to make sure I can actually carry her. 7.
Can you imagine if you can't carry her and you have to put her back? 7. I'm gonna roll a lightness check to see how heavy she is. Okay, you are able to lift her, but it's slow going, and you certainly won't be stealthy. Like you're gonna be bouncing off walls, and it's gonna be awkward positioning and all of that to achieve it. But you can lift her.
Okay.
With
I've got nothing on me.
Check. That's true.
So
you've got literally nothing on you.
So I will go up.
Okay. As you are kind of turning and getting started, moving up, you feel hey, we got a raid!
Raid!
Hey! Welcome in. We are. I promise this isn't as bad as it seems. Matt has. Okay. Anyway, you are attempting to escort the unconscious person that you found in the weird dungeon underneath the millionaire's mansion. You're trying to take Elaine Mollusk back up to the party so that you can ideally get her to safety and see if you can revive her. And that's all that's happening. There's nothing illicit going on Twitch, TOS, please. So you begin climbing the ladder, carrying this person that you found.
Okay.
And you start climbing up there, and you need to make an athletics check to see if you can do it without dropping her or getting stuck or whatever, just because it's weird negotiating. And hey, TSEF's chat, just so you guys know, you can use a couple commands to play with our screen here while Matt rolls that. You can use D20 to fling things, and you can use bump to fling everything. It all just goes everywhere. And if you donate bits, the money will float in space around us, and you can fling those too. Just so in case you wanted to play around with the thing here. Okay, how did your roll go?
An 18, my sir.
All right, well, no issues at all as you T-Sav's going a little crazy with a bump. Here, T-Sav, let's put some more stuff in there for you to bump around. I'll throw a little bit of money in there. We're gonna pretend that there was a cheer just so that you can play with it, because I think it's so fun. I think they're so fun. So play with those. It'll be way more fun now. Okay, you're 18. You're easily able to climb back up the stairs with her, or up the ladder, I should say. As you get to the top of the ladder, though, you can hear voices in her room. There are two people. They sound kind of like servants talking to each other, going, "This was her quarters. I'm sure she was staying here. I wonder where she could be." Okay.
And just wait it out.
Yeah, roll stealth to see if you stop in time.
Feet don't fail me now. 13.
The tension underneath you, the tension around you continues building. 13, you stop, and let's roll for them.
Look at this poker face I got.
Yeah, that's literal poker face. One of them goes, "Well, I guess we better check the estate again." And the other one goes, "Hang on, I think I heard something. That's weird that I would hear something." And you hear footsteps moving towards your tunnel area.
I will position her in my lap, and I will turn into complete, what I assume must be darkness underneath of me.
I see. So you're just going to try and tint your skin black. Matt's playing a changeling, by the way, chat. Okay. So you basically are going to changeling into something black. Roll a dexterity save to see if you change in time, because they're about to peek down the thing.
I'll take that 10, please.
Okay. You're kind of sitting there changed, and two people peek over the edge, and you can see their faces. They're looking right at you. And they go, "Huh. Just a bowl. I don't know. That's so weird. Let's see what else is out there." And they turn around, and you hear them walk away. The door opens and then closes, and the room is quiet.
Wait. a safety amount of 30 seconds. That is the safety amount of time.
Okay.
Make sure they don't like, oh, I forgot something.
Right. They don't.
Okay, then I will make my way up with Elaine in my hands.
Okay.
And I'll kind of just push her out once I get towards the top so I can climb that last bit a little quieter. And then once I get up there, if everything's still good, I'm going to pick her up and lay her down on her bed. Okay, this is a big brain moment, okay? Big brain moment.
Do you need your shoulder angels?
Shoulder angels.
Yes.
I need you to verify this idea I have in my head, okay?
Okay.
I ask for help through the door and then hide in a corner and use my changeling powers to be like, have you ever seen that guy in real life who does like the painting, like he paints himself to be the exact colors and shapes of the background and you have to Where's Waldo him?
What if you
Go ahead.
What if you just leave and let people find her naturally? They'll probably come back to her room at some point.
Yeah, I'd rather sooner than later, you know? But
If you paint yourself, then the wall's going to be hairy.
unless I change again.
Then your wall's going to have junk on it.
Now, this is the important question of the time. As a changeling,
Please
Can
don't ask
I-
a question. I think
Can you
you're
go
about to
Ken
ask.
doll? Is that what you're asking?
yeah, can I go Ken doll?
Or what if you change
Can
your
I-
shape again? Go
Can
to
I
a servant,
change the texture of my skin to match the walls?
full chameleon.
Full chameleon?
I don't think you can go full chameleon. Like, I think you can change skin tone and stuff, but I don't think you can, like, or if it's like a natural camouflage, like leopard print, that's one thing. But to like in Sherlock Holmes, where he like paints on part of a chair and then part of the wallpaper, like, I don't think you can do that. That's a little bit much.
So
Thank you
What
for the
if-
lurk, chat.
what if instead you change again, go to a servant, just tip them off or something about her being in her room, and then leave, and then they'll send someone there. The people are looking for her, and then you leave, go away, and change back.
You know what? I'm gonna grab my clothes. Alright? I'm not gonna change. Grab my clothes. I'm gonna go back into the hole.
Okay.
Go all the way back down.
The whole way down. Okay.
Yep. And I'm gonna go back in the tunnels.
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna take the next. I'm gonna take that right again, and I'm gonna go down the next turnoff, and go up that. What I assume must be a ladder on the other end of that hole.
Okay. You go through there, slide through the hole, get to the ladder, and sure enough, you can climb back up, and it leads you through the, through the fake sink and into another one of the guest rooms. This room looks different than the other three guest rooms. This one is bigger. It appears to have had extra quarters added to the end of it, and you can see draped over the front door, like the locked door that would lead out to the balcony, the banner of the Dwarven Kingdom of Gaim. Or the Dwarven Queendom of Gaim, I should say.
What's wrong, room? Don't want to tangle myself in this shit. Go right back down.
I'm going to add to the tension pool as you are trying to find somewhere to hide.
You mean you don't want to snoop on the dwarven princess?
Yeah, I don't want to be. Yeah, no, I don't want to mess with that royalty. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm going back down the ladder.
Okay.
And I'll go back into the tunnels.
Okay.
At any point, if I need to roll a stealth check, I'd assume I'm trying to go like semi-quietly.
Sure.
When I get close to the holes, I'll go to the next turnoff.
Okay, this is the room where you found Elaine Mollusk.
Oh. Okay. So there's only that one turnoff before that room,
Yeah.
and then
There's
I'll go
just
to
the
the
two
next.
ladders. Okay, you go to the next one.
Yeah.
The next room is a similar stone circle, but the room is empty. Yeah.
go to the next.
The next one is a similar stone circle, but the room is empty. However, you're starting to smell something weird on the air, like a like a chlorine type smell, like like the chemical smell of like Formula 409 or whatever, like antiseptic spray. It's kind of like that.
From that tunnel.
It just kind of in the air as you're moving further down the tunnel. So you can, it's in both directions now, further ahead of you to the south, or if you take that turn into the weird dungeon room.
Can I do like a self check in the sense like, touch my head, shake my head?
Sure, roll a wisdom check. That seems like
I just want to make sure
stuff.
like I'm not affected by this.
Yeah.
Roll insight on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just straight wisdom?
Yeah, just straight wisdom.
That is a 9.
You're pretty sure all's good. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, you can still, like, you're still in control of your faculties and stuff. Like, it's not like you're numb or anything weird like that. So there's nothing that would alarm you. And you've been around Xothkug long enough to know, like, when something's addling your mind.
Right. So I feel like it's gotten me uneasy, but,
You could say it's adding some tension.
Yeah.
Ayo.
I'll walk forward and check the next tunnel. I think there's like 2 more, right?
Yeah, there's 2 more.
Okay.
So you check the next tunnel. It is another circle area thing.
Right.
And in this one, let me check my notes before I get this wrong. But I believe this one has someone in it.
Gasp.
Yes. In this one, there is a tiefling wearing traveling clothes who is, again, kind of just like curled up on the circle of the floor and laying there doing nothing.
I'll come back for you later. I'm going to check the next tunnel.
The next tunnel leads to a door, a stone door. So you could turn right, and then there's a stone door there. You can't see through the door. It's a very thick door. And because it's a very thick door, you don't have any warning before you hear the doorknob turning. You do have, like, the door's about to turn and open, so, like, you notice that long enough to kind of duck back.
Backpedal, yeah.
Okay. So you backpedal, and you hear it open, and you hear voices coming down the stairs, like just kind of the general murmur of the dinner party that's going on. But you don't hear this person saying anything. You do hear one set of footsteps, and you hear sliding, like someone is dragging feet. They're gonna come around. There's only one path for them to take. They're gonna turn left and see you unless you duck into one of the rooms.
I'm going right back into the tiefling room.
Okay, right back into the tiefling room. And are you just gonna try and like basically hide out of sight of the door? Is that the play here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go in there in the circle room and then just hide out of sight from the doorway.
Okay, roll stealth for me.
17.
Okay. That's a pretty
17.
good stealth. Yeah. They're also not expecting anyone to be down there, so I don't think you need to worry. But you do hear the footsteps kind of walk by you, still dragging stuff, and then they go into the next empty room, lay probably a person down in that room, and then come back out and walk away humming to themselves. Yes?
Before they leave, I do want to peek around the corner to see if I recognize them, or at least see what they look like.
Are you going to try and peek after they've walked past, or are you trying to catch them before then? Like, are you trying to look at their back or their front, basically?
Basically, after they dropped off the body.
Okay, so they like walk past you towards the door, and you're just trying to check if you recognize who it is. You don't recognize them like in person, but it is a gnome woman with wavy red hair.
Okay. And what? There's only one person?
Just one person right now, yeah.
And I gotta see what the hell they just dragged. Because I'm gonna be a little sus.
Don't forget to wait that 30 seconds. Pat.
Oh yeah.
Patented 30 seconds.
The patented 30-second wait.
I'm gonna wait for the door to close if I hear it.
Oh, Fox 30.
And it echoes
and-
back up the thing to you.
Wait my Fox 30.
Yep, the Fox 30.
And then I'll go check out who just got dropped off.
Okay. You head over to the doorway and you recognize the deputy who walked in and asked people to go and look for Elaine Mollusk.
So advisors, do I save them? I mean, like,
How many
He is-
people are we gonna save? One person at a time, man.
I mean, he is actively searching for us, right?
No, he's not. He's not searching for her right now.
Well, I mean, he's asleep right now. You got a point, but I'm just saying, if he disappears, we technically benefit from that.
And what about the other woman?
Oh, I'll check her out. Yeah, I'll save her. I don't know her. She poses no threat to me, as I know.
And then there's Elaine Mollusk in her room on her bed.
Yeah,
Where people will undoubtedly check eventually. Like,
as you have said, advisor. In my head.
But if that was Jess and she finds Elaine Mollusk in her bed, she's going to be asking lots of questions and going through all the guests and servants.
But think, if she's doing this secretly, she's doing this secretly behind everybody's back. But if she finds somebody went behind her back and then secreted her secret plans back into Elaine's bedroom, she has to secretly then go behind everybody else's back to do the searching. She can't just interrogate secretly. So,
I think these bodies
brain.
say otherwise.
well, obviously, she must have some sort of hold of them. And I'm not liking the sliminess down here. The circular rooms, is that the only way in and out, the way I go in?
it's the only way you've seen to go in and out. Yes.
Well, where does that door lead?
Alright, well, first things first. Just in case Yes, he's hunting us, but I don't want him to die. I'm gonna drag him out of the circular room just into the hallway.
Chat has redeemed the 6th tension die. I'm going to clear the tension pool.
Not now.
Why have you done this, chat?
Oh,
No, he did ha 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 ho!
This.
we get some complications.
No!
Oh, this is such a
Complications.
good complication.
Oh, the DM having so much fun.
This is such a good complication. You head over to the deputy's room to see what's what. You walk in there and you feel a sneeze building, like a huge sneeze, like a gonna echo the whole way around these tunnels sneeze building in the back of your throat.
I gotta immediately furify my arm and just sneeze into.
Roll stealth with disadvantage to hide your sneeze.
Remember, if you hold it in, you aren't wearing clothes.
Okay,
Fox's eyes are gonna pop out of his head.
I got a 14
Okay.
to stifle my large sneeze that came out of nowhere. No particular reasoning.
It's dusty.
It's the chemical
it's
smell.
dust,
The
you're right.
chemical smell, right? The like antiseptic
course.
stuff gets in your nose.
The chemical
course.
smell?
Yeah, the chemical smell. That's actually the
knows
name
the
of
smell.
my. That's the name of my
smell
band. Chemical smell.
TM. Chemical smell TM.
Absolutely.
Okay, you sneeze, and Xothkug, you don't hear any sneezing.
Of course.
But you sneeze, and to you, I mean, in the silence of the tunnel, it still feels
yeah.
incredibly loud. But you're pretty sure you masked it enough to where it's not like it. For example, it doesn't wake up the deputy despite being right next to him and substantial. So.
I changed to the
You
color
have
of the stones.
boogers like all over your fur, though.
You changed to the color of the stones, except all of the like grossness in
Yeah,
your
you know,
fur.
I'm gonna like
from your
go
sneeze.
down to the deputy and I'm gonna grab his jacket and just gonna rub it off.
Oh
Gross.
no. Okay, you do that.
It's a small price to pay if I'm saving his life potentially.
That's
Or
fair.
trying to.
That's fair. It's a small price to pay if you're saving his life. As you're messing with his jacket, you see on the inside of it a little piece of parchment that it appears to be like kind of his directive or his notes or whatever that he was coming here to talk about. I'm assuming you're gonna pull that out and read it.
Oh, hell
I'm
yeah.
hand feeding you this clue.
Yes. The GM hand feeding me. Put it away. Burn it.
No, you pull it out and read it, and what it says is "Disturbance at Mollusk Manor" is the headline, and then underneath it, it says "Tall folk wearing male shirt and no pants, drunk," and then "Dirt folk leap from window, uses magic, no cipher, question mark, question mark." And then at the bottom of that, you see 4 guys, Ventures and Vibes, circled with a question mark, like and a little drawing of the logo on the side of the cipher truck.
Okay. I'm gonna do a little correcting of the truth, and we're gonna pull out this, and I'm gonna change it to 4 vibes of venture. Right? I'm just gonna like get rid of whatever the hell was underneath that.
Okay.
And I'm also gonna like use the full extent of my artistic ability to also draw that onto the side of the cart.
Roll performance. I'm gonna add a die to the tension pool.
A 12.
All right.
You know, might I add that Fox was instrumental in designing. He was there with Jeb when we designed the logo.
Oh, was
and
he?
Everything.
Was he?
Yeah,
now?
he was.
Oh, okay.
We like Fox and Jeb. We did that when we took the card.
Oh, okay.
and
You're right.
Everything.
You're right.
Yeah.
He was.
So he would have some insight into logo design and all
Sure.
of that goes along with that.
Okay.
I have expertise. I can put it on my resume.
Sure. You
Graphic
draw
design.
Fox, graphic designer, and thief and servant.
What a resume.
And miter.
You do indeed alter the drawing before you.
Okay. Does it look like his handwriting?
The deputies?
Yeah.
Seems like it. As close as you're gonna get.
Yeah, I'll put it back. Just, you know. Oh, wait. I'm gonna gaslight him. Pull it back out.
Okay.
Put a
I'm
mustache
gonna
on.
erase everything that besides what I changed,
Okay.
and just write it again, but in my handwriting, trying to mimic his handwriting.
That's pretty good. That's a good move. Okay.
So it
So you
all
write
matches.
everything else exactly as he had written it, like all his other notes?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. You do that.
You said magic, and then he said cipher question mark, right?
He said, no cipher, question mark.
Remove the no and say cipher exclamation point.
Okay.
Alan
good.
has pants now. Put pants on.
No.
Pants, no shirt.
That's good enough.
Okay.
I don't want to change too many details because then, the more you change, the more recognized,
Right.
So, okay, now I put it back.
Okay. Now you put it back.
Yeah, I just drag him out of the circular area because that seems foreboding.
Okay.
Not all the way out into the main hallway, but just like to the entrance of it,
Okay.
in that little in-between area. I'm gonna go to the tiefling
Okay.
and do the same if
Okay.
I can.
Yep. You.
Oh wait, I guess I would check her out. Yeah.
You investigate the tiefling. And I go through my notes to find the tiefling. Okay. This tiefling wears the simple garb of a traveling merchant. They have the horns coming out the top and everything like a normal tiefling would, little merchant clothes. But honestly, there's nothing identifying about them. Like there's no papers, no identity document, nothing like that on their person. And they also don't seem like they're dressed rich enough to be here.
Tiefling merchant, the sheriff deputy, and Elaine Mollusk. Well, I'm gonna do the same thing, I guess.
I'm adding a die to attention pool. Just for time.
Drag them out halfway into the hallway.
Okay.
Where, if you were looking down the main hallway, you wouldn't see, but
Right.
I'm now going to check out that stone door. That was the last passage, right? The stone door?
Yes.
There's a doorknob to it.
Not on your side.
When she turned the doorknob, did I happen to see which way it bent?
Yes.
Before I hid?
Yep. It went to like the left. It went eek, like that.
In or out?
Oh, out. The door goes away from you.
Okay. I'm gonna test the door and push on it. Just like a little bit.
The door does seem like it would move if you pushed hard enough.
Okay. I push a little harder. I'm gonna try to move it as slowly as possible, unless it's like really screeching. Then I might as well just like full send it.
It's stone scraping on stone, so it's not overly loud, but it's not quiet either.
Then just enough to squeeze through.
Okay, I'm gonna roll a tension pool.
Going for broke.
Proud of you.
This is no, not like this, Josh. No, I know exactly what's gonna happen.
You push open the door, and on the other side, there are no longer like murmured voices coming down the tunnel like there were the first time. And it's a little bit darker, like maybe an exterior door has been closed, sealing off ambient light. But you do hear a female voice humming to herself. And you hear more like sliding along the floor.
In the room I'm in.
Well, at the top of the steps, yeah. They're not at the steps yet, but they're like moving towards the steps.
Okay, I'll try to pull it back a little bit. Just the 1 second, right?
Okay.
And hopefully it looks like maybe she left the door open. And I'm gonna... Was there any cave that was empty?
Was there any what?
Any, like, circular cave that was empty?
Yes.
Which one was it?
It was the second, like the one after Elaine Mollusk was empty. Because the deputy one is now full, but there were 4 of them. And there was Elaine, nothing, deputy, tiefling.
I'm gonna push the tiefling back as far as I can go.
Okay.
Back towards the center of the room. Do I hear the door yet?
Yeah, you hear the door slam open. There's no humming and there's no like dragging or sliding. And you hear determined footsteps walking into the room, and you hear another set of footsteps on the stairs going, "You called, lady?" She says, "Yes, Mavira, come. I need you to investigate something. I think someone might be down here." And hurried footsteps coming down the stairs.
I'm gonna back up against the circular wall with the room with the tieflings in, since I just pushed her in there, and I'm just gonna like disguise myself as the wall the best I can, like the same color, just same color.
Okay. Roll stealth. I won't make you roll it at disadvantage because you're able to change colors to match the wall.
17.
Okay.
Vera sounds familiar.
It should.
She was. I can send you the image I sent Matt.
How do you spell it?
Mavira.
There's a clue in the whiteboard. She was the highest paid employee of Dig Site 6 in the other category. I don't think we learned anything more about her.
Okay. So you hear footsteps are going, and as soon as they see the first body that is not pushed the whole way into its circle room, they're like, someone is down here. Lock down the party. And Mavira, you hear like 3 or 4 ciphers go off. Xothkug, meanwhile, you are upstairs hanging out with, what's her name? Kaitlyn. Princess of Gaim at the party when all of a sudden the doorman comes through and he closes the doors to the front room himself and bars them so that nobody can leave, and then stands outside, and after just a few moments he is joined by several burly looking staff. Like, you haven't seen, they look like bouncers, not like kitchen attendants. You haven't seen these people before, but they are now in front of the door. Each of them has their hair dyed purple to match Mavira's purple hair. And they are standing at the door. Several of them have like weird looking tattoos and stuff. Like they look like they mean business. Are you going to do anything or continue talking to the princess?
Continue talking unless she brings it up.
No, that's fine. You're probably mid-rant about Kelnor at the moment.
All right. Yes. So this is Kelnor is essentially the party god. Very, very fitting.
Meanwhile, under the estate, Fox, you are pressed against the wall, and it feels like years and yet like seconds before they come to search the room that you are hiding in, and they have brought a torch in with them. You are pressed against the wall near the entrance, so right now, the back is to you, and it is the same red wavy-haired gnome that is Jess Bayson. So Jess Bayson is now looking in the room. She's got a torch, but she's looking at the other side first. She hasn't turned towards you yet, so you've got like one round to do something here, basically, before she turns around and sees you.
Is she doing like a clockwise rotation?
Sure.
If she's doing a smooth sweep,
You're gonna try and match her?
I'm gonna try to match her just enough until she like looks back at the exit.
Okay, roll a stealth check with disadvantage because you're trying to like you're watching her, so you're not watching where you're going. So like you might bump into things or whatever.
Right, and I will not change out of the goat legs, but I will change the hooves to feet.
Okay, sure.
So you have hairy goat legs.
Yes.
And human feet.
Yes.
You are really an atrocity. You are right now.
When was it rolling?
You were rolling stealth. Is it a nat 1, Matt? Is it a mat 1?
It's not a mat 1. Okay?
It's a mat 2.
Definitely not a mat 30.
It's just I know it's not enough. Or I don't think it will be.
She's got to roll.
It's 10.
That one fell off the table. I'm going to use another die.
Here we go.
You're never going to believe this, but you match her pace good enough. You like slip at one point and kind of like catch yourself with your palms or your fingertips on the wall and like kind of bounce off it like a little dance move and whatever. And you make the same spin as Jess Bayson. Jess Bayson spins around and walks back out. She rolled a 3. Lucky you. Yep, exactly. And she walks back out and goes to check the next 2 rooms with the tunnels. But when she gets to Elaine's room, she goes, "Elaine!" and then rushes out of the room. And now she sprints past you and back out the door and up the stairs. You hear the door ka-chung slam shut behind her.
How?
But
How do you always get away with these?
Wait. She probably thinks Elaine somehow woke up and went out of the door. She just came in because the door was open. Thus, she wouldn't check her guest room right away. Because that's probably where she got abducted. Right? If I was me, I went to my room.
If you were you?
If I were me, and I went to my room and I pass out or something, I wake up in a cell or something, I wake up and leave, I'm not gonna go right back to that room, okay? That's just my thought process, so...
You gotta get out of here.
I want to help both of them.
We gotta get out of here.
Alright, Did the hallway continue after the stone door?
Nope. This is all there is in this hallway. You've explored the whole thing now.
Do like a light jog, like kind of like tiptoe jog, all the way back to the fork. I'm going left. Salvation is to the left.
Okay.
So far, I have no other solution.
Leave.
As your friend, the DM, I'm going to ask you, are you sure you want to go to the left?
Yeah, you do. Fortune favors the bold.
Nope. We gotta make an appearance so we're accounted for at the party. You saw the alarms go off.
The party is split right now, and so I want you to understand that if you potentially dive deeper into a dungeon, there is always the risk that you're going to find yourself in an area that really ought to be adventured in by a full-size party.
But there's probably a lot of really good stuff in there, though. How often do you get all the really good stuff all by yourself?
My fox senses are tingling. Somehow. I miraculously not decide to go down what I believe is the only option. Because my fox senses.
Okay. You're like, that's foxed up.
But I'm still gonna get to that fork. I'm looking around. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I can't carry. I had a hard enough time with the gnome carrying that up the ladder.
Yeah, you would never be able to get a tiefling up one of those ladders.
Or a security guard. Just leave me.
I'm gonna go back to the stone door.
Okay.
I'm gonna dip in occasionally just in case I hear the stone door open.
Yep.
Nothing?
And when you get to the stone door, you see that it is slightly ajar. Not enough for you to slip through, but like she's run off in a hurry.
She probably left her room.
I push it open more.
You push it open more. It scrapes on the ground. You hear your heartbeat thud at an equal level to it. The door opens. Nothing happens.
I peek at what I must believe is the staircase.
There is indeed a staircase there, and as you follow the staircase up, you find yourself in an office.
Okay, and that bottom area, was that like a little cellar area? Was there more to it, or was it just a hallway with a door?
It was just a hallway with a door. And when you get to the office and you close that stair door behind you, you realize that it's a bookshelf.
Is there any large furniture in here? A chest, like an antique chest?
Sure, yeah, there's all sorts of... It's an office, so it's got like a big desk with locked drawers. There's nice bookshelves. There's a big old chest in one corner. It's an ornately furnished office for a rich person.
All right, hear me out. It's a rich person. They probably wouldn't use everything as actual storage. Is the chest unlocked?
The chest is unlocked.
I'm gonna peek open.
There's nothing in it.
All right, I'm rushing down back towards the door.
Okay. You rush down towards the door. I'm gonna add a die to the tension pool because I just realized what your plan is.
I'm going to the tiefling.
Yep.
Oh no.
Athletics to move the tiefling. Tieflings are large creatures.
19.
Yes, you are fed by your adrenaline, up and moving. You're schmoving.
I need my good luck.
What is this, a scavenger hunt for bodies?
Yeah, this is not how I expected this to go. Meanwhile, on the other end of the estate, there's still Xothkug and the princess just sitting across the table from each other, casually enjoying another sip of champagne and discussing Kelnor.
Surely, a purveyor of fine arts like yourself must have some poems to offer.
Oh, of course I do. And then we jump back over across the room to Xothkug, or to Fox, I should say, who is now moving up to the chest with a tiefling. Are you going to put the tiefling in the chest? Is that the play here? Yeah, okay. You put the tiefling in the chest. Now what are you doing?
Is there enough room
No.
for a mole person?
Nope. Not in the chest.
I look around. Is there a mole person shaped that I could shove a mole person into? It's gonna be uncomfortable, and it's better than being dead or brainwashed.
Sure, you find any furniture that you can shove something into. Yeah, you can shove a mole folk into some furniture.
Okay.
Tell me what ornate rich person furniture you shove the mole folk into.
It's a giant globe.
The globe that opens up?
Yeah.
Okay. I get it, because it's like, they put it together and they would like you to be able to take it off. In order to take it off the, mount, you have to, pop open the globe.
Yeah.
I get you.
Meanwhile, while this is happening and he's putting the dirt folk into the globe, on the other side of the house, Xothkug, you and the princess is just about to tell you her poetry when you're interrupted by the sight of Jess Bayson and a fleet of servants walking past you. They just round the balcony very quietly, don't, say anything to you, walk over to guest room number 3 and open it up. And a couple of them are audible gasp, the surprised at what they find. And they set up a perimeter that blocks guest room 3 from view. She looks over at Mavira, who is now posted at the front door, and just nods at her. And Mavira immediately rushes over to guest room 3, and the doorman begins unbarring the front door.
My, what is going on?
Fox, you have now successfully stowed a dirt folk in a globe and are standing in an office. There's an exit to the south that leads into a gigantic freaking bedroom, or an exit to the east that leads into what looks like a private study.
I cracked the globe like a wood chip, a thin wood chip can fit in the crack. Right, just enough for air. Okay. I don't want to accidentally kill him.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
I double check on the T-flame, is the lid, it's not airtight, right?
No, it's not airtight. They'll be fine.
Okay. I peek my head out of the door of the office to wherever this goes.
Okay, you can go into a bedroom or a study. Both of them are deserted. The study is lined with walls of bookshelves. The bedroom is just a gigantic... It's a bed the size of most people's bedroom in the middle of a room that is twice that size. So it's just this massive sea of mattress that you can see in the middle of it there.
Is the bed have an underneath? Can I hide under the bed?
Yeah, you could.
Does it have another door into that bedroom?
Nope. Well, yes. Sorry, the bedroom leads, so it has a door into the office and then another door into the study. So the office and the study are left and right of each other, and then the bedroom is connected to both of them.
Oh, okay. I will, I'm in the office. The office is where things happen. I'm looking for, ledgers that are not out in the open. I'm looking in, the
I'm
desk
rolling the tension. You're still looking around. Okay. You're looking for ledgers and stuff that's out in the open. You find some generic business documents, but nothing that seems suspicious or fishy to you. They all look like legitimate,
Put it immediately
dealings.
back.
Okay.
Anything... Do all the drawers in the desk open?
Yeah. You're able to get into every drawer of the desk, and you see what looks like normal, legitimate working documents in them.
Do any of the drawers seem shallow?
Nope.
Try the study.
I go into the study.
You head into the study. It's lined with bookshelves, and then there's a really comfy chair in the middle and a small table next to it where
I look back at the bookshelf I just came through.
Yep.
When I closed it, did I see what triggered the bookshelf?
Yeah, there was a book that snapped into place.
What was the name of the book?
I don't know.
Was it the color? Identifying anything?
Sage green.
Okay, I'm looking for an identical book anywhere on these bookshelves.
There isn't one.
Is there furniture I can hide under?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna go hide under the furniture, and from my hiding spot, try to just scan what I can. But otherwise, I'm just gonna wait it out.
Wait out the entire search?
Well, no, you're right. I find the door that gets me out of this hellhole.
Okay, you move through the private cafe, and into... So, okay, just to be clear, you're still, naked with goat legs. Are you gonna turn back into you before you walk back out to the party? You do find your way out of the, private chambers of the estate.
So I do know where the party is.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I go out there, then, yes, I will change back into my blonde-haired variant.
Okay.
And quickly dress into my clothes, brush off, and step out of the door.
And you do that without consequence. You are able to reconnect with Xothkug, who notices that your hair color is different. Xoth is in the middle of, he was going to be in the middle of listening to poetry from the princess, but they were kind of interrupted by, now they're both staring over at the commotion happening outside guest room 3. You can now see that there's a bunch of stuff happening at guest room 3, but the front doors are unbarred.
I'm going to whisper into Xoth's ear.
Really whack shit going on here, okay? There's like a basement full of shit going on, all right? Hear me out. There's a tiefling and the deputy, all right? And I kind of stuck them in furniture because where they were was a lot worse, okay? They were like in cells that they were slimy, like the slime. And then there was also Elaine Mollusk, and Elaine Mollusk, I thought I was saving her because I put her back into her room, but she was actually, there's a secret pathway out of her room out into these dungeon, and I pulled her out of the dungeon back into her room, but now they just probably checked out her room from what I'm seeing, and now they probably refound her.
Oh dear. That quite.
Is everything all right?
Oh yeah. My servant was just telling me he saw Elaine Mollusk, earlier during the party, and he was informing me of that.
My liege, if you may, milady, may I ask your relationship with Jess Bayson and Elaine Mollusk?
I have no standing relationship with them. I'm here on a first invitation.
I look at Xoth, cock my head.
Can I help you?
And on that note, no, I'm just kidding. It was a funny ending sentence, but I'm trying to get you out of the party if we can.
Yeah.
We're good.
Do we want to talk about this another time, my liege?
Yes, it's best we talk another time.
My lady, would you like to have a conversation another time with my liege?
Oh yes, I'd love to hear more poetry.
I would like to hear your poetry.
Is there a way we can contact you?
Yes, and she hands you another of the calling card fabrics, and you can see that this one on the back has an embroidered address. This is where I'm staying, and this one is how to contact me in Gaim. And on the back, it just says, Kaitlyn, daughter of Salin, Gaim. It just, if you get it to the queendom, everyone will know.
Is it two different calling cards?
Yeah, there's one for where she normally is, and this other one is where she's staying while she's in town.
Got it.
I hope that potentially my liege has the time to make your acquaintance again before you leave.
Are you leaving the party?
It appears so. Urgent business matters. Some people I hired earlier today, just can't figure things out. I have to go straighten them out.
They wouldn't be related to those things, would they? She's looking over towards the pile of servants and security outside guest room 3.
Absolutely not. I have no idea what's going on there.
Very well. Well, I shall hopefully see you another time. And she sits down and begins, drinking again.
I tip my hat. Always a pleasure. I look forward to our next meeting.
Do we have the car with us? We got dropped off, didn't we?
You don't have the car with you.
I will take my leave.
All right.
Boss man
Come, servant.
I'm following.
Okay.
And we walk straight out that party after stashing 2 bodies and accidentally getting another one recaptured.
Great. You walk out the front door just in time to see the Four Guys Ventures and Vibes cipher truck come rattling up the road toward you with Jebediah driving it and panic in his eyes.
Oh no, what did you do?
Xoth, I think I've connected the dots. Don't ask questions yet.
I just didn't. I take leisurely get in as not to draw attention to myself from the servants.
I sit up next to Jeb.
Okay.
I get into the cart, and yeah, I guess I see an Alan passed out in the back.
There is an unconscious Alan in the back of the cart. He smells strongly of liquor.
I'm gonna do a quick medicine check on him just to make sure, even though it's heavily.
He's alive and stable, but very intoxicated. It's like the most unholy amount of drunk you've ever seen in a person.
But he'll live. He'll survive it, right?
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Okay.
He'll sleep it off. He's a barbarian.
Okay. Yeah.
So Jeb, we need to talk.
And on that note, tonight's episode of the Wing Badger Tavern comes to a close.